Yes, people, big up to all of you, and welcome to today's edition of the Blue Morning Show. Where, initially we just wanted to come here and have a conversation with regards to Chelsea's season so far, 2023-2024 season so far. But today's Blue Morning Show has become even more interesting because we have to discuss the retirement of a Chelsea legend in Eden Hazard. As far as I'm concerned, he never played for Real Madrid, and wish he hadn't gone there. A lot to learn from his, you can say, football, from his career as a footballer, and also we'll to do if we have time enough. There are some other news items we have lined up that we'll talk about, but we will have a conversation about Eden Hazard here. Everybody's Eden Hazard a favorite moment when he was playing for Chelsea, and then we'll talk about Romelu Lukaku. We'll talk about Victor Osimhen. Talk about Axel Disasi and all the news items we have lined up. But before we do that, I hope you're all doing well. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, big up to all of you. I do hope you're all doing well. It looks like my screen is still a bit slow, laggy, maybe because I opened the window where I want us to share a look at take our time to see how well Eden Hazard did when he was at Chelsea. But that's by the way, we move on. Let's see. Let me say hello to the people in the chat. If that's going to be problematic, I'd rather shut off that particular window and find a way to share it on the other system. It's that time of the year, says Jerry Z. Big up to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Thank you so much. Come and be part of an interactive show. Let's hear you. Yep, let's hear you. We will hear from you today after we address the new. I think we should, as soon as we start addressing the news item, I will share the links in the chat, or maybe as soon as I'm done saying hello to all of you, I will share the links in the chat. But you must be on camera, except if I already know who you are. Then you're welcome to come onto the panel without being on camera. This says, come on, be a part of the interactive show. And we have a hello to you to Constantine Dante. Always nice to see you on Golo Dante, whichever one you prefer. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And you, JC, I hope you're doing well. I can't complain, and I hope you're doing well too. And we have a peace and blessings all up to Chelsea Metal Fest Doom. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Greatest Premier League of all time. Is that what you think that he is? Greatest? You're saying greatest Premier League player of all time? Okay, if you believe so. Do I think he is? Maybe, I don't know. It's debatable. I am good. Just eating. Enjoy your meal, brother. Big up Kuchila. I can't complain, bro. JC, much love to you. And calm down. Let's see what else we have here. Facts. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You remind me. I will also grab something to get. Okay. Why am I just reading everything in the chat? But that's, by the way, Eden Hazard's story. It really does break my heart. A player that I love so much. Wish he never joined Real Madrid, but I wish him well at the time, not knowing that they will not handle him very well. They will not take good care of him. They just wanted him to come play. They didn't make him feel important, in my opinion. Had they done that, I think he'd leave. You could say he could have done well at Madrid, but they didn't. I think there were jealousy at the time. If you ask me, people feeling like he was earning too much than them. They didn't even. Here's the thing. They didn't treat him like a marquee signing. What's the language they use? They use there in Spain. There's a language they use when they sign big name players. I think I get it. I get the argument that he's a lazy player, never didn't take care of himself very well. But yeah, he didn't feel you can say he didn't feel wanted at Madrid. They were making fun of him and all that. But that's by the way, we're moving from that. If you're in the chat, before we start looking at Eden Hazard's, let's just look at these numbers, Chelsea numbers. You can say before we get into you telling us your favorite Eden Hazard at Chelsea moments. I'd like to hear that from you before we call it a day. So let me bring this window on uh, to this. Let me bring his statistics to this particular window. Unfortunately, this slows down the system due to a lot of pop-ups there. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have 10 likes. We should be doing better than that. We are how many minutes? 14 minutes into the show. So we should have more likes than what we're looking at. At least we have 15 people watching. So we should be doing better than that. At Chelsea, Eden Hazard, just give me 1 second. At Chelsea, Eden Hazard played 352 games for Chelsea, scored 110 goals, made 92 assists, 18 and got 18 yellow cards and one red card. I think the red card was the one he kicked a ball boy. Correct me if I'm wrong. He doesn't get too many cards in my opinion. So let's see what he won at Chelsea in total. Let's look at the trophies here. Give me a second. We'll get to that in a bit. Majority of the trophies he won throughout his football his career were all won at Chelsea Football Club. So one, which one is this? Okay, that's an individual accolade, so we don't have to look at that. I'm concerned this is going to shut off my system. Lot too many pop-ups. Jeez, I don't like this. Maybe I have to close it out and open it in another window. At Chelsea, yeah, no need counting the individual accolade or award. Chelsea, he won 2 Premier Leagues. And what else do we have here? One English FA Cup. That's 3 trophies. He won 2 Europa League trophies. That's how many in total? Three. That's 5. And then he won one one English League Cup in 2015. I think that's 6 in total. I think he won 6 trophies at Chelsea. That's 1, and that's 2, and it's 3. I think 5 trophies in total at Chelsea. Yep, 1, 2. Let me count them again. 3, 4, 5. Yep, six trophies in Chelsea at Chelsea in total. Not bad. Like I said, majority of the trophies he won throughout his footballing career were all won at Chelsea Football Club. I just wish he never joined the Real Madrid. What a player he was for us. But unfortunately, he followed his dream. And the biggest lesson to learn from here sometimes your dreams, you can say what you're dreaming, those dreams are your dream. You can say your this dream is you're looking to actualize, and you can say may well not be good for you, in my opinion. Okay, you remind me. Let's see what else we have here. And JC here is saying, Coachella, you need to enjoy coffee. It keeps you focused on tappings. You don't need to be looking at every wayward pass. Okay, I get the joke, but thank you so much for that. It's good we sold him when we did. In my opinion, chances are, had he remained at Chelsea, he'd still be doing well. I just think Madrid didn't value him. He wasn't important to them. They didn't treat him as if he was important to them. And he's a sort of player for him to be firing on all cylinders. You have to show him some love. You have to show him that's important. At Madrid, that wasn't the case. He went to Madrid thinking that they loved him, thinking they were going to treat him as a great player. The way we love them, they were going to love him the way we love them at Chelsea. They didn't. For me, I'd say jealousy played a part. The senior players at the club at the time were all jealous of how much he was earning, nearly twice as much as most of them, except because at the time the highest earner at the time had already left Madrid, so all others weren't earning that much. But yeah, here's the thing. It breaks my heart really. Maybe I'm just maybe it's just me trying to find a way uh, to just explain that one of my favorite Chelsea players was never lazy. That he was always you can say, striving to be the best in the world. But that's by the way. Let's hear you. If you're in the chat, let's hear your favorite Eden Hazard moment. I'm waiting for you. Let's hear you. Yep, it's good we sold him when we did. If that's how you say it, good. This says the moment. Sorry, the money slash replacements helped us a short term win again. You could, I mean, it's a solid argument too. Coach, what do you eat when you wake up at your crazy time? Just coffee. Coffee alone has been helpful until my my mom came back from Africa. Yeah, I think I've been told that cola nut, what we call cola nut, that is you can say safer than coffee. No withdrawals when you don't drink them, because for me, if I go 3 days without drinking coffee, I get sick, unfortunately. But that's by the way, let's hear you. Your favorite Eden Hazard moment. I'll wait for you. It'd be interesting to see what you have to say. For me, my favorite Eden Hazard moment would be that goal, you can say, that was the final nail to the coffin. The year that Tottenham thought they were going to win the league, and we ruined it for them. And it was a year that we were awful in the Premier League, and yet to me that doesn't differ much from winning the trophy, given the fact Sports did not Tottenham did not win it that particular year, and we were the reason why they didn't win it. I think he ended up the winners of the trophy that particular year ended up being was Leicester City. So let's hear you if you're in the chat. Your favorite Eden Hazard moment. I want to hear it. It'd be interesting to see what you have to say. Mommy's boy, is that what you call him? Let's see. Ben Hazard. Oh yeah, you're having a go at me because I told you my mom brought that calling up from Africa for me. Best Hazard moment for me. Is this a solo goal against Arsenal? Wow, that's an interesting one. What's the guy that tried, you can say, to body him, but he bounced off it and had to see if he hit a he hit you can say he hit the trampoline maybe. Yeah, or he hit a spring. I remember that goal. They had Coquelin, is that how you pronounce his last name? Francis Coquelin at the time. They couldn't stop him. They had a Belgium defender too. About how many from the center circle? Actually, he made that run from the center circle, and why? He had a few solo runs. One was against Liverpool, I remember, in a cup game. The other one was against West Ham United in a Premier League game. So I can remember three solo runs from Eden Hazard. All you can say, all delicious. But you can say the one that he started from a far more distance than the others was the one against Arsenal. He started nearly from the center circle. The one for Liverpool is number two, if we're going by the his solo goals. And then number three, the one against West Ham United, because that one he started just right after outside the box. But let's hear you, your favorite Eden Hazard moment. For me, that to me, if we're going by the where he started the run, that one in particular. But to me, the most difficult one to achieve, you could say, was the one against West Ham United, because he had to navigate tight spaces to pull off that solo run and score a goal. Let's see. Yep. Consuming Simosi is the best way to start your day. Simosi? CMOS. I'm not sure what that is. You have to you can say inbox me. Love him to legend. Yep, he's a Chelsea legend for me. Best is that game for me was the Europa League final against Arsenal. He alone got us a farewell cup. Yeah, that day everybody already knew he was going to leave Chelsea. But to me, his performance on the day was just, you can say, the usual Hazard performance, nothing too special. But if you're going by the fact that was his last game for Chelsea, yeah, maybe that becomes your favorite Eden Hazard moment, but not that one for me. I could go, you can say, on and on, given how many trophies he won at Chelsea. Big up to you too, the Blue beautiful game. Much love to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join. My favorite moment was when Chelsea earned an extra 20 million when he won the UEFA Champions League with Real Madrid. Was that a one-time thing? Was it a one-time thing? Was it each time they won a trophy? We you can say we get paid. Even the Champions League, La Liga trophy, and even their cup trophies. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure. But rumors has always been that each time Madrid wins something, that we get paid. Whether that was a constant thing or whether that's a limit to how much we got paid. There was a limit to it. I don't know. But yeah, at one point I actually started arguing that maybe we didn't want to sign him back because we're better off him playing for Madrid and you can say earn money each time he wins or something. But I'm still gonna still say it. His departure to Madrid broke my heart. Not just because he left Chelsea, because I feel like they didn't treat him well. They never valued him. They disrespected him out of jealousy from some of the players. Maybe they didn't even try to make him feel important. Ramos took the penalty, taking responsibility. That would have been one way to make him feel like, yeah, we value you. You're important to us. But they didn't. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. He was lazy. I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that's wrong. I agree. He was lazy. But the fact remains they never valued him at Madrid. They to me, you can say they didn't treat him well. They didn't treat him as I believe he should be. You could say they should have treated him. That could have helped. You could say helped him do well for them. But that's just my opinion. He was lazy, coach in training, and all his teammates at Chelsea at the time spoke about him and said he's the laziest they have seen, but plays great in games. Yep, he doesn't train well, but during match day, he outperforms everybody. And I've heard the story of where was it Lil? He came on match day. He was drunk, yet he ended up being you can say helping the team win the game on the day. That's not me condoning that such behavior. For an athlete, I don't think it's a good behavior. Maybe such behavior is the reason why his you can say his you could argue that his career, footballing career, is ending prematurely. But I'll still argue Madrid did not value him. They didn't treat him as I feel that you can say they should have treated him. He didn't feel important in Madrid. If anything, they were bent on highlighting the fact that he came back to training fat and doesn't train well, and all that nonsense. But that's fine. We're moving from that. I want to hear your favorite Eden Hazard moment. If you're there, let's hear you. That and a Tottenham goal to end them. Yep, that made sure they didn't win the trophy that year, and Leicester City ended up becoming, you can say, the surprise winners that year. My best was that moment was when he stopped the Spurs from a winning trophy. Yep, I picked that one too. The double nutmeg goal versus Liverpool in the cup. I can't quite remember that one. Let's see which one is this. The Blues. Yes, that was nice. Let's see. He was lazy. He enjoyed life to the fullest. A perfect example to them kids on how to live life to fully enjoy them to the maximum. But if you want to be, you can say a success, a healthy athlete. If you want your career to last as an athlete, you don't live your life the way he lived his, in my opinion. And here's the thing: the biggest thing I'm learning from his retirement is that football was never about money for him. It was about how he enjoyed being on the pitch and playing football. Because I'm quite sure, I heard the one from the MLS. I'm quite sure there were plenty of options for him on the table. And what we heard at the time was that Hazard and his representatives would take the time to consider what the player wants to do next. So it was never about money for Eden Hazard. It was how happy he was on the pitch of playing football. Honestly, unfortunately, he breaks my heart really because I love him so much. Let's see, Ngola Dan. I haven't said that today. And my bro, Glenn 10. I'm gonna say this. In my opinion, this is the only Belgian player that's ever played for Chelsea. I get it, Kevin De Bruyne, Charlie Musonda, Romelu Lukaku, and others. To me, if you ask me, yeah, this is the only player that's ever played for Chelsea. He represented Chelsea wholeheartedly, loved the club, and wasn't going to be forced to join Madrid because he said at the time, if all parties don't agree, that he was happy to remain at Chelsea. But we just had to let him go because we wanted to honor his wish because he served us well. In my opinion, also, he never played for Madrid. I just want to, I'm in denial. I agree, but he never played for Madrid because they didn't treat him well. They didn't take good care of him. You cannot be lazy at top level. Would have never made it or stayed there. I agree with you. Does anyone know what was his favorite pudding? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. And did I skip what Glenn said? Oh, big up coach and chat. I just yelled your name and still didn't read your comment, but I hope you're doing well, brother. Glenn 10, my bro, my Belgian bro said, for me, Hazard is the best individual I have witnessed in a Chelsea shirt. Zola fans, don't come at me. For me, I'll take Hazard over Zola in my opinion. But those that grew up watching Zola, most of them would tell you they prefer Zola, but I prefer Hazard for many reasons. And yeah, you cannot be lazy at top level. Would have never made it. I think I agree with you. Does anyone know what was his? I don't know. I think we've read that one. Glenn, I said it. Yeah, what you gonna do about it? The guy is getting paid. What more value he needs a coach? And the only reason he did not um uh, take to him is because of his injuries. So he didn't get the chance to get back to full fitness quick enough. Hazard, here's the thing. I'm quite sure there were Mr. Maxwell. I'm quite sure there were plenty of options for him on the table. He's just 31. These days in football age, he's only 22. In my opinion, I think here's the thing. I'm going to say this again. The biggest lesson for me is that Hazard loved the game. It was never that much about money for him. Yes, he has to earn money because football is what he's done. It's what again how he earns money to feed his family. But you get my point. He loved the game first and foremost. Big up Glenn, just saying hello to Glenn here. Would you rather lazy Hazard or hardworking Gallagher? You're not nice, my friend. Just go away. You are really not. I hate you even more right now. I'm not answering that question. If anybody's interested, you go ahead. You have him there. Help him answer that one. We've not had a World Cup World class player since Hazard left. You can argue that. But if we're saying world class player, Enzo won the World Cup. And by standards, technically he's a world-class player, in my opinion. But I get your point. Tobejo has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. Trick question blues. Yeah, I'm not answering that. Just let him go away, and I'm gonna even block him. But this, by the way, Tobejo, let's hear your favorite Eden Hazard. Your favorite Eden Hazard moment. Look at him, and he's saying, "Yeah, I thought so." Just go away. Let's hear your favorite Eden Hazard moment. For me, it was that goal that made sure in a year that we were awful that Tottenham did not win the Premier League trophy. But let's hear you as he speaks. I'm going to share the link to the panel in the chat so you can come on and tell us about your favorite Eden Hazard moment and why. But if you have not been on this panel before, you have to be on camera. I don't know. It'd be difficult to accommodate you without you being on camera. But let's hear you, Tebejo. Go ahead, bro. Go for it.
First of all, we're going to fight today, me and you, because today's my birthday and then you haven't said anything.
I haven't. Have I gone to Twitter this morning? But by the way, just hold on one bit. Let's take care of it right now. Happy birthday to you, my bro. Much love to you, my only brother from. I have plenty of brothers from, you can say, Madiba land, but you're the closest brother I have from the Madiba land. I remember you owe me Ukomboti, the Ukomboti beer whenever I come to South Africa, and some fireworks. So, my bro at Tabejo, happy birthday to you. Have I learned this earlier? I would have done a YouTube shot. Then I'll post on Twitter to say happy birthday to you. Today you become a year young, a year smarter. You become a much, you can say, you can say, probably you learn not to fight me anymore in the panel. Maybe. But more importantly, happy birthday to you, brother. Jokes aside, I will still say something on Twitter. But let's hear your favorite Eden Hazard moment.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. My favorite
No
Eden
worries.
Hazard moment was the goal he scored against West Ham. I know the goal against Arsenal was beautiful, but the goal he scored against West Ham on his last season, if I'm correct. Oh my God, what a goal! What an individual brilliant. I
Why,
never
why
seen
is
a
that
player
one?
in the
Why did you choose that one over the goal he scored against Arsenal?
I, I I love the fact that he dribbled almost four players before he scored that goal against West Ham. Remember it? So I love that
Yeah,
final.
very, very
mi-
tight space. Here's why I would choose
Yes,
that one over the one against Arsenal, because that one, it was in a close, very close. You can say close. You can say a crowded space, a very small space, but crowded. Lots of players there. He had to navigate that seamlessly to score that goal. In the case of Arsenal, he had space. He had time to think about what to do even before he gets closer to the box. But you go ahead.
yes, I agree. That's why, like, I loved that time space, and then he made everything simple, and he scored a beautiful goal. Oh man, Eden Hazard. It's a shame that he left Chelsea to go to the Real Madrid, but overall, it was his dream. And then Chelsea, I'm glad Chelsea didn't deny him that dream, but he failed at Real Madrid. So overall,
And he
thank you.
was willing to stay. He did say
Yes,
it. He did say that blue looks good on him, and he's quite sure white will look good on him. But if he stays, it's fine. He would not have complained too much, because yeah, he was open to staying, and you can say at the same time the club couldn't resist the deal. Also,
yeah,
but you
yes,
go
I
ahead.
agree. Yeah, I agree. So overall, thank you so much, Eden Hazard. You're welcome to Chelsea anytime. And then since I've brought a new Chelsea T-shirt, I'm gonna print Eden Hazard on it.
Yep. What do you make of his stint at Madrid? Do you think it was his fault that he failed at Madrid, or do you think they didn't handle, you can say, his days there well? For me, it's just as if they didn't value him that much. There were much jealousy surrounding how much he's earning, because he was the biggest earner at the time, one of the biggest earners at the time, and some of the big name players at the time didn't like it. I Because he was in the news also, they weren't happy that he was earning nearly twice as much as some of them. Um, and that was after the departure of Ronaldo. And they didn't even, for instance, there's a way you treat such player. Usually Galactico signings from Madrid, usually they give them the penalty taking responsibility to make them feel at home and important. They didn't do that to him. I get it. Do I think he's the most hardworking player on earth? No, I won't go to heaven if I say that. But why do you think he didn't succeed at Madrid? Let's hear you.
Yeah, first of all, I felt like this is my opinion, and I always say this. I felt like he shouldn't accept the number 7 T-shirt because it was a huge boost to feel after what Raul and Ronaldo did for Real Madrid. So he should have got another T-shirt and then end that number 7, because that
Mhm.
number 7 jersey comes with pressure. So he couldn't deal with that pressure at Real Madrid. Also, as you said, as you mentioned, his teammates never respected him very well, and also I think injuries was the major issue. He had so a lot of injuries in Real Madrid than he had at Chelsea. So it's annoying, but man, I loved him at Chelsea. I don't care about Real Madrid. I loved him at Chelsea.
As far as I'm concerned, he never played for Madrid. Honestly.
Yes.
I get it. He wasn't the hardest worker, but at the same time, I don't think they loved him there. They were just making fun of him, always highlighting how he's added weight during the breaks and all that. But that's just me. Let's see what else we have here. Even on a Friday evening, Lazy Hazard over hardworking Hazard. I'd say that yeah, working hard was never his thing. Let's see. Good dropping. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's see. Happy birthday to Bayo. Happy birthday. And the link to the panelists in the chat. If you've never been here before, you have to be on camera before I accommodate you. Let's see the link to the panelists pinned at the very top because today's edition of the Blue Morning Show fans the opinion. You come into the panel to speak your mind. Let's see, deleted by Nightbot. What did you do there? Too many emojis. That's probably why Nightbot deleted your message. Yeah, but Chelsea fan for that's Costa. Comedies do not use that much emojis, otherwise next it's going to time you out next. And if you're a moderator, you can now time somebody out for seconds, I think minutes. There are days also. I don't know if it's months. Tobejo just comes in and doesn't even say hello, just demands be there wishes. That's because he's on his brother's YouTube channel, so you know how spoiled little brothers are. So he's came here. He came here to fight for his birthday cake. You're in the mud. I knew it. I told people had United lost that game, we were never going to see you for a while. But because United came back from 1-0 down and won the game, now you're here to say modest. Chelsea and United, we lose together, we win together. No, you're alone because I'm sure we'll do better than you. Rashi. Rashi, big up, but much love to you, Rashi. You know we love you here. Yeah, exactly. The Super Goat versus Manuel Neuer. Neuer thought he was the man until he saw the ball in the back of the net, of his own net. The super goal, what goal was that? Can you elaborate? Why am I not remembering the goal you're talking about? Good day, everyone in the house. Good day to you too, Ajahn Edikachi. Nice to see you. Super Cup goal. Okay. I always thought he would retire at Glenn, just go away. That's a shame that the Belgium golden generation didn't win anything. Yeah, unfortunately, really. I think they weren't managed properly, unfortunately, and it would take a while before they get such, you can say, talented crop of players. That don't come easy. You think he will get really fat now? Unfortunately, that may well be the case. It's not. He doesn't owe it to anybody. You can say to eat a healthy, but I hope he stays fit. Big up everyone in the chat. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And please, if you're in the chat, take a moment, take a second to say happy birthday to Tobejo. He's one of us, a brother I love so much. And as you can see, he came to fight. He came to the panel to fight us and demand birthday wishes from us. So let's give it to him. Happy birthday to Bejo from Constantin Dante. And Hazard was a target man, was a target from day one. When he stepped foot onto the Spanish soil, he was being kicked way too much. That was a major contribution to his injuries. The referees did not protect him. Hasten over Kofi Kai Danso, in my opinion, they didn't love him. They didn't love him. I get it. He's not the hardest worker, but at Madrid, they didn't make him feel important. Coach, what is with Belgium attackers and hamburgers? Maybe Glenn would tell you. Ask him. Happy birthday to Beho. Much love to you from everybody in the chat. Bobby is in the house. Bobby, big up to you. I think there's no better person to ask this question. How good was Eden Hazard at Chelsea? Before we talk about then you let us know your favorite Eden Hazard moments, and then we get to talk about whether you think why you think he failed at Madrid. You've heard me speak about, you can say, talk about why I think he failed at Madrid, but let's hear you, Bobby. More importantly, I hope you're recovering well. Always nice to see you, and apologies for not always reaching out to see how you're doing, but just know this, I've been praying for you.
Thank you, Coach.
Much
Yes,
love.
recovery is in process. I did have a bit of a relapse, but I'm back on track, and
Mhm.
thank God, and yeah, I'm grateful for the support from everyone. I believe certainly on this channel. Yeah, Eden Hazard. What a. I mean, he walks into the Hall of Fame at Chelsea deservedly. He's definitely amongst those that you can truly label the word legend to. A mistake in his career will always be leaving to Real Madrid. He was offered to be paid the highest in the Premier League of any player by Roman Abramovich, but his father stepped in and it became, sometimes in life, the saying, be careful what you wish for, is very, very true.
The
He
grass, the
went.
grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Not at all, not at all. I can understand it was part of the mapping of his career, but he went to a place where, yes, I'll talk about his injuries in a minute. The injuries
Mhm.
did hamper him, but it's flooded with his type of player, and it's flooded with the Madrid politics. And you would never, unless you started your career at Real Madrid, it's rare that a player comes in and achieves legendary status. Only people of the ilk of Zinedine Zidane. I don't even think David Beckham achieved that. As good as he was and as consistently as he played for them, I'm not sure they will class him amongst the legends ahead of people like Raul or indeed Luis Figo. So Eden Hazard walked into an uphill task, whereas his place and his legacy was set and is set at Chelsea. It was just a matter of finishing it off with grace through his retirement. Now, you can't talk about Eden Hazard without talking about injury, about the brutality and the viciousness he faced playing in the Premier League, simply because he was a Chelsea player. I witnessed this firsthand, in some cases close up. I remember many a game I would be there working, and I would be actually, when he was on pitch side, and I would see, hear, and almost feel the kicks and the bloody tackles he received. Eden Hazard was a strong guy, very strong, little, diminutive fella. He would get up and play on as if nothing had happened. But a lot had happened. I remember his socks soaked red with blood. I remember so much injury to him and indeed to Ivanovic, I remember. But, that's another story. But, I remember so much injury caused to him and referees, Mike Dean, all these people. That's why I dislike them with a passion.
And just quickly, didn't Mourinho, Jose Mourinho at one time say they're not protecting him enough, and that could lead to him deciding to leave the Premier League? I remember
Yes,
that.
yes, there's somebody that's posted it on Twitter. It reminded me, I have to go and find it again. But somebody posted that on Twitter, and that is very true. That is what I don't think that's what led to him leaving. Eden was a tough guy. He would have still taken the punishment for Chelsea if it wasn't his design to eventually join Real Madrid. But he took that punishment and he kept playing, kept doing his thing. It was extraordinary. There are very few players of his ilk in the modern game that could take what Eden Hazard took. And they did it and allowed it. I remember many a times the referee would not blow. So it was encouraged. You let one or two defenders or other midfielders do that once or twice, get away with it, and they all think it was open season. I'll never forget a game, was it against West Ham? I forgot, or Villa or someone, where player after player after player would just crash into this guy. But he kept playing. I mean, that is one of the most extraordinary things about Eden Hazard. The only other player I saw, or at least heard of, take equal punishment, or maybe not quite as much, was the likes of Tommy Langley at the age of 16, playing for Chelsea, and of course the great Peter Osgood. The difference was that they played in eras where where this happened, and they would often give back as much as they took, especially Peter Osgood. Maybe lesser so Tommy Langley because he was a child playing amongst men. But Hazard never retaliated. He would always get the punishment, but he never did anything. He never came back. He was never a malicious player. Even the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, when they used to go for him, always had some spite in him that he would give off camera or give a dirty elbow here, there, leave his boot somewhere. Hazard was none of that. He was
And you could say
indeed
the only two ten dents on his Chelsea career was that he didn't get to win the Champions League with us, and then the straight red he got after kicking the ball boy at in Wales during
Bolton or
the
something.
game against Swansea,
Swansea,
and
that's right. Yeah,
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 the two dents. That's it for me. But go ahead, Bobby. I want to hear you.
yeah.
Why do you think Hazard did not succeed at Madrid? Was it just down to him being a lazy player? We all know he's a lazy player. Even Nicole, a few months ago, did say that during an interview, a registration interview. Other players have said it. But to me, I think him not succeeding at Madrid goes beyond the fact that he wasn't as hardworking. As usually the signing, Maki signings, that's the term they use for it there in Spain. I think they didn't make him feel important, more importantly, because he wasn't injured all through the time. At the time, even when he was fit, he was never on the pitch. Maybe that was their way of trying to get him to leave Madrid by force because they knew he loved football. And the fact that he didn't go to Saudi Arabia or come to the MLS because quite sure we heard there were offers on the table for him. He didn't take it. Show that he loves football first and foremost. But let's hear you, Bobby, your opinion on why he didn't succeed at Madrid.
Yeah, as I've slightly touched on, there are several reasons why it didn't happen for him at Madrid. One of
Mhm.
them, the fact that his ankles were shot to pieces by the Premier League. Yes, he wasn't injured always there, but there were times when that did cause some delays in him playing. Then there was undoubtedly the fact that, there were many players of his type, but I still feel he could have more than held his own amongst them. But there's always the Madrid politics. And if you're not amongst the chosen ones that they choose to idolize,
Mhm.
you will become slightly frozen out. And they're merciless. If you come with a big reputation like he did and you have a start like he did, a few poor performances here and there, you become labeled, and it's very difficult to get out of that. So I just think it was the wrong move at the wrong time for the wrong player. And it's just unfortunate. It's one of those things that happen. But even then, the fact he was frozen out at Madrid, his career never can be tarnished, because both for Chelsea and both for his national team, he left a legacy that can be second to none. So, Eden Hazard will forever be remembered as the great footballer he was. The sad thing is that his Ballon d'Or nominations never really led to much fruit. Yes, there was heavy competition. Yes, it was in the era that Ronaldo and Messi dominated everything, but you would get a few odd appearances like that of Modric coming in and winning it here and there. And could Hazard have done that? Well, you would never know. We'll never know. But I think if he had stayed at Chelsea, he would have got that elusive Champions League, perhaps with the team that won the Champions League after he left. And who knows what accolades he would have been given for that. So, we can only be thankful that he ever wore our shirt and that he ever played for our club.
Yeah, as much as I think we should be celebrating his footballing career, us Chelsea fans, I don't think Madrid fans will celebrate him. At the same time, it's heartbreaking how he ended. Unfortunately, I'm still one of those that will still look back and say, yes, I get it. He was a lazy player, and I get it. Injuries didn't help matters to at Madrid, but at the same time, they didn't make him feel important. They never liked him that much. They just wanted him out. And probably they were pained by the fact that every time they win something, it's payday for Chelsea. So at one time you could argue, for me, it's believable to say that at the time when even when he was fit, they weren't playing him. They were just trying to force him out because he loves
No,
football that much.
yeah, I have to agree with you 100%. Apart from the fact that, apart from the fans being aggrieved that every time they won something, it was payday for Chelsea. I can assure you, Madrid fans don't think like that. They're used to playing big bucks for big players. They don't care about those sort of things. And I'm pretty sure that Hazard wasn't the only player that had those sort of clauses in his contract. So I don't think that bothered them at all, and I don't think it was even in their thinking. It's their usual Madrid politics that was what destroyed him, and the fans have a bias. They have a particular type that they cling to and they adore. I mean, I don't think they even adored. David Beckham was adored at Manchester United. Was he adored at Madrid? Not really. Not really. He was pretty much an average player. I mean, he wasn't despised like perhaps they despised Hazard a little bit, but he wasn't. He wasn't adored. He wasn't given the accolades of your Modric or your what's that player Zidane's and people like that. Absolutely, Figo. No, he was never and would never
They
fit
had to,
that
they had
bracket.
you can say, but at the time they had too many stars.
Yeah. Well, at the time of Beckham, or at the time
Yeah, at the time of Beckham, they had too many big name world
yeah. I
class
mean
players at the time. Yeah,
that was the original. What do you call them?
the
The original
Galacticos.
Galacticos, wasn't it? But Madrid always has too many stars. That's what they're about.
But no, but that period was it was something special.
Yeah, it was different. It really
It was
was.
different. Yeah. Let's keep those in the chat. The microphone. I'll come back to the panel again. It's not National Dish Day, so why are we talking Belgium dish? And it says a French. Okay, I'm skipping that one because I want to go to. I'm not here to make fun of a Chelsea legend. Bad luck caught Hazard at Real Madrid. You could argue part of it. It's you can say a multitude of reasons why you can say he didn't succeed at Madrid. We do wonders with potatoes. It's mostly beer. Yeah, and I don't want to see that beer you showed me on the day. Tastes good, I guess. Let's see. When I think of Hazard, all I see is a blue. Not once do I think of him as a Madrid player. And I've said this before. As far as I'm concerned, he never played for Madrid, in my opinion. That is just me denying. I just want to see him, remember him as a Chelsea player, because his time at Madrid does nothing. But yeah, the grass over there was everything but green, honestly. Most fitness, let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Jose called him out in terms of his defensive contributions. I remember it was during Chelsea's end of the year award party and all that. It's something to the effect of him not being the best defensive. I can't quite remember. So let me just misquote Jose. Jose predicted that if referees didn't protect players like Hazard, their careers would always be short. Okay, that's another way to put it. I would have just said you're doing the tapping on me. I think I remember that too. Love to try in different okay, just you guys just go ahead with that conversation. When the special one speaks, you listen. Yep. Again, you can say he's not just a football coach, he's a prophet to football prophets. Salute to all of you. Let's see another moment to remember when you say had to go at Hazard and that lady medic. Yep. Hazard took more beating than a UFC fighter. I think that's the delicious comment of the day. There's no better way to put it, and that perfectly sums up what Bobby said about him. They nearly killed him in the EPL, but at the time, it looked as if the more you try to kick him, the better he does on the day. Yeah, but that's by the way. Again, let's see. I also remember being jealous of the ball boy as that. Wish it was you. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one got me, Adriel. I have to tell you that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. It's just Hazard's a body type, also how he plays slow, then quick turns, etc. uh, you can say, yep, you're never able to predict what he does next, and hardly again getting the ball off of him isn't easy. You have to bring him down before you get the ball, but as long as he's still on his feet, he does whatever he wants. And he I don't remember him diving. He never dives, in my opinion. He was a pure footballer. Let's see what else we have here. Real Madrid are not entirely innocent. I think I say that. Yep, they didn't take good care of him, in my opinion. Am I arguing that Hazard was a perfect, you can say, example for kids who wants to be athletes? No, in terms of his lifestyle, he didn't take good care of himself. But Madrid didn't help. I think jealousy part of it, in my opinion. This is just me expressing my opinion. The big players at the club at the time were just jealous that he earns nearly twice as much as some of them, and he even came out in the news at the time. Uh, this how you welcome such player. Hazard is a good penalty taker. I don't see why after his arrival at Madrid, for Ramos to still be the penalty taker at the time. They didn't really treat him as a Galactico signing, honestly, and that's down to the big name players, the Benzemas, Ramos, and others that were there at the time. Yeah, I think I agree with you. They've killed a lot of attackers. Remember Kaká too? Yeah, Kaká at Madrid. What happened from AC Milan to Madrid? What happened there? I honestly, it was you can say beyond me. Eden was not professional with his body. I did not deny that, Mr. Troublemaker. And welcome back with your with your troubles today. And playing in the Premier League broke his body, and Real Madrid was just the wrong team for him. I think that's another way to say it. I never denied the fact that he wasn't. You can say you can say he didn't take good care of himself as an athlete, but at the same time, Madrid didn't take care of him, honestly. Let's move on. Let's see if there's anything else about Eden Hazard we have lined up here to address. Give me a second here. Yep, I have this one. I love this. Is a beautiful picture of him. This guy, I loved Chelsea so much. Yeah, blank screen. So let's read the statement here. Eden Hazard announces his retirement from professional football. You must listen to yourself and say stop at the right time. At 16 years and more than 700 matches played in total. Wow. I have to do a YouTube shot with that one, really. I think I have to. Just give me 1 second here. Let me zoom out a bit. Come on. It's it's not really zooming out. What's holding it there? Just give me 1 second again, once more. It says, yep, Eden Hazard announces his retirement from professional football. You must listen to yourself and say stop at the right moment. After 16 years and more than 700 matches played, I have decided to end my career as a professional footballer. I was able to realize my dream. I have played and had fun on many pitches around the world. During my career, I was lucky to meet great managers, coaches, and teammates. Thank you to everyone for these great times. I miss you. I miss you all. I also want to thank the clubs I have played for, Lille, Chelsea, and Real Madrid. And thanks to the RBFA, I'm guessing the Belgium Football Federation Association, maybe, for my Belgian selections. A special thank you to my family, my friends, my advisors, and the people who have been close to me in good times and bad times. So finally, a hug. Thank you to you, my fans, who have followed me for all these years and for your encouragement everywhere I have played. Now, in the time, now is the time to enjoy my loved ones and have new experience. See you off the field soon, my friends. Bobby, one quick question I want to ask you here is this. Can Chelsea employ him in any capacity, like ambassadorial role or something like that? If you're there, or whenever you come, yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Not everybody or not every great player is suited to a coaching type of role. But some will
How about
surprise you.
ambassadorial role, like the
Um,
sort of player we
and,
want to sign, a Belgian player? We'll say, Eden,
and
give him a call. Tell him Chelsea wants to sign him.
yeah, an ambassadorial role can be fitted in as
Mhm.
well as a pundit. I have a feeling that Eden will be a good pundit. Chelsea lack pundits. We lack representation in the media. That's why we have to face insults from people like Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, who, by the way, is starting to change his tunes. Surprise, surprise. But, he has already spent the whole summer insulting Chelsea, the owners, and the new project. And now he's beginning to believe in Chelsea, the owners, and the new project. What a fool. But that aside, someone like Eden could be, because Eden Hazard would not take prisoners. I don't see him as someone that wouldn't speak up if things are being said against Chelsea. Whereas sometimes, I'm not saying the others don't speak up, particularly Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank does speak up on Sky when they allow him to. But
Mhm.
sometimes there are others that can be somewhat timid. Joe Cole, yeah, he speaks up, but sometimes he allows himself to be drowned out and intimidated by people around him. And he's often there with Rio Ferdinand, who has no Chelsea affiliation, but just so happens to be one of those few pundits that is very balanced. So he never attacks Chelsea. In fact, he often speaks up for Chelsea, and he doesn't
Sometimes I
say
started thinking maybe he's
is secretly a
secretly
fan.
a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, he's that fair to the club. He doesn't like all the attacks on the club. And I like that. That's what I want in a pundit. Honestly, all I look for in a pundit, I don't mind if you have your criticism of the club. Of course, that's what you're there for, but some of it is just unfair, unrealistic, uncalled for, and biased. It's tarnishing the club. Rio will never do that, and we need more of such people. So whether it's with ESPN, to try and drown out the betraying voice of Craig Burley and the tepid voice of Frank Leboeuf, who could do better in the way they speak of Chelsea. Certainly, Craig Burley. I think that would be welcome, but definitely to keep him attached to the club, I would give him an ambassadorial role. The only trouble with that is that the new ownership and the model with which they're building, would it have space for that level of sentiment? I
They
don't know.
should. I think they recognize the importance. For instance, for somebody like Eden Hazard, if you want a Belgian kid and Hazard gives him a call and say you should go. And remember, because I'm quite sure we have a lot of Belgian fans, Belgian based on because of Eden Hazard today. For instance, he did speak with Romeo
Romeo
Lavia.
Lavia.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I mean, no doubt he was influential with Romeo Lavia, and who knows who else. Eden Hazard. What I love about Eden is that he loves the club. He's always loved the club. You saw him when he came, even with Madrid. He was almost going into the wrong dressing room. He came
And they
afterwards.
they they, they hated him for that.
Oh, they hated him. But it was his feeling. He was jubilating and congratulating the team after they knocked his team out of the Champions League semi-final. There's certain things you can't help. You put me anywhere in the world and put Chelsea, and my reflex would be to stand up for Chelsea because it's in my blood. And he's likewise, he's a player and a fan. And the unique thing about Chelsea Football Club is that we create this in our players. I cannot think of players who, even those that joined Chelsea late in their careers, after greatness at other clubs, your likes of Ruud Gullit, Luca Vialli, rest in peace, Gianfranco Zola, all those great players that came late in their career. You ask them today what they think about Chelsea, and they're there. In fact, they hold Chelsea to more esteem than the players, the great clubs they often have played for in the past.
Mhm.
So that's something we should be proud of. And as I keep saying, I'm thankful he played for us. Can he be an ambassador? Yes. Will they allow him to be? Well, it's left to be seen. I don't know. As I keep saying, if he fits the model, if they can create space for him, I'll be delighted, of course.
I hope so. I look forward to that. I was emotional reading that, but not as emotional as I was the day that I read Roman Abramovich farewell message. I cried on the show. I will never forget that. I was tempted to delete that video, but I just had to let it be there. I was just myself on the day. Ferdinand is a legend. I agree with you, and a good person overall, given the way he was never biased when talking about all the clubs. He always keeps it objective. Gary Neville is good to an extent. Sometimes can say some crap. Here's a link. One of the YouTube shows that I created about Eden Hazard. I think that one talks about everything he's won at Chelsea, how much was signed him, how much was sold him for. It's just a YouTube show, I think about 22 seconds or so. Please go watch it. Drop a like on that particular video. I will link it to another YouTube show that I did. Eden has a show that I did. But please help me watch it once more and drop a like on it. Big up Blue Blood Bobby. I like this one. I think that's what I'm going to be calling Bobby these days. B4.
Through and through.
Yeah. I like that. Big up to you from the Beautiful Game. You can say a legend recognizes a legend. Eden will not be staying with football, but he will always be a Chelsea fan. Be a Chelsea fan. He was a Chelsea fan through and through. He loved Chelsea through and through. I'm going to repeat these. Before his departure to Madrid, they say if the clubs agree, he's going to leave. If not, he's happy to stay. It's as simple as that. He wasn't really pushing, and we just had to let him go to help him realize his childhood dream of playing on the Zidane and for Real Madrid. And unfortunately for him, he didn't get to play under Zidane that much. I think so. Zidane, he was injured mostly before Zidane leaves. Good afternoon to you, to Mr. Troublemaker. I appreciate you. Much love. And please do not mind how I talked about you. It was all love. It was just me joking, giving you a name. But that's, by the way, people keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have 25 likes. We should be doing better than that. We've read this. This is really touching, really. And let's see. Eden Hazard is one of only 4 Premier League players, one of only 4 players in the Premier League history to score 15 goals and provide 15 assists in a single season. He was that good. That's another one I'm going to make a YouTube shot with. But more importantly, what a player he was for us. Yeah, we move on from that. And please check out that YouTube shot that I shared in the chat. Watch it. Just drop a like to help me remind Google. There's also a video that can help people learn more about Eden Hazard at Chelsea. Please watch it. It's about 20 seconds at most, I think, or maybe 23 seconds. Just watch it and drop a like on it. Here is it. Here it's in the chat. You don't have to scroll up that much to see it. And Constantine Dante says, can you believe one day we will be celebrating Gallagher the same way? Yeah, very possible. Let's see how it goes. Very possible. You never know. But that's, by the way, we'll move on from that. Let's hear you, Jerry Z, before we start addressing the news items we have lined up. I want to hear you. Tell us your favorite Eden Hazard moment and why do you think it did not succeed at Madrid? Let's hear you before we move on.
Good morning, Coach. Good evening, everyone.
Big up to you too. Big up to you too, Jerry C. And if you're in the chat, I want to hear from you. Do you think we should be doing at the end of every season we should be doing panel of the season and they get to win something? Let's hear you. But let's hear you, Jerry C. Talk to us.
Yes, sir. You asked me 2 questions, like my favorite Eden Hazard moment and why he didn't do well at Real Madrid, right? If I recall it correctly. So my favorite Eden Hazard moment was on 2nd May 2016 when he came off the bench and scored the goal when Spurs were leading 2-0 in the Battle of the Bridge. And it was one of the most electrifying moments, the whole atmosphere, the build-up.
He came on to replace Willian, right?
I don't recall that, to be honest, but all I remember is that...
You go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, he came off the bench, and the lead up to Battle of the Bridge with Spurs needing to win that game and the following game to win the league, it had all these stakes in the world, and you know that how much I dislike Tottenham, right? And so, yeah, it was special because Tottenham played really well the first half and they dominated, and then in a traditional way, they really bottled it, but more than bottling, it was an individual brilliance of Eden Hazard. So that was my particular moment to answer your my favorite, sorry, Eden Hazard moment for the to answer your first question. And why he didn't succeed at Real Madrid, it's a combination of many attributes, but of course it's not rocket science. It has to do primarily with his injury, right? He got injured, and of course he never got to settle. He lost the momentum, and it's a difficult thing. Many people have their difficult take. We can have a show, we can talk about an hour on this, right? So in short, Eden Hazard, of course, to me, I say he's one of the best, probably the best Chelsea player, at least what I have seen in the last 10 years, right? Of course, if you look at the stats, and I am a stats man myself, then it won't exactly reflect that. But for a player like Eden Hazard, we don't really have to go and look at the stats, right? Basically, people sometimes say the Brazilian Ronaldo is better than Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi if you take into consideration their peak performance, their peak season. So in that context, I'm sure I'm not alone. Many people were thinking he is as good as Lionel Messi. So, and that was a right analogy, even when he was at his peak performance. So of course, one of my favorite players, generational talent. And at Real Madrid, it's unfortunate. Of course, he was never consistent. He was not fit enough regularly. Perhaps he lost some interest or motivation, and unfortunately, he could never get back. And he was mostly injured on and off. So yeah, it's a sad day, but it's, of course, he had his legacy, and we can always look back at it with a lot of pride, and hopefully in the future he will have a part with Chelsea.
Yeah. Again, unfortunately, it still breaks the heart how it ended. Here's the thing. I want to tell you the beautiful game. You and Constantine Dante. I'm gonna go to heaven, no matter what you guys try here. You can't get me to do something that will drag me into hell. And my bro, the Added Time podcast, and always nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. And here's the thing, today's show is called, again, edition of the Blue Money Show is called a Fan's Opinion. The link to the panelists pinned at the very top. If you want to comment, again, I speak of whatever topic we're currently talking about. You can comment, but the rule is you have to be on camera. Unfortunately, there's a risk to allowing people not to be on camera while they speak. But nice to see you, brother. And here we have, I remember Hazard from sometimes he was just not in a game and just only one action. He won us a game in many games. Yep. Yep. And that's why managers don't take him off. Even on his worst day. And his thing, something as I like about him, he's not a selfish player. And chances are, had he been more selfish, chances are he'd end his career with one Ballon d'Or. Yep, but he wasn't a selfish player. He always puts the team first. And before you see him go on a solo run, it's that because the team as a unit have tried the best they can to win a game or to get a goal, and it's not happening. And then once the ball gets to him, he takes the bull by the horn. He tries to pull the rabbit out of the hat to help the team win the game. I just love. I don't like selfish players, and Eden Hazard isn't one of them. Yep, it breaks the heart really. Let's hear something else here. Indeed, let's see what else we have here. Something else we have lined up here to talk about. We have some news item, and the link to the panel is pinned at the very bottom. If you want to comment to the panel, let's hear your opinion. And it says, Coach, just to let you know, myself and Constantine have never ever lost a midfield battle. That's the reason they call him N'Golo Dante. But for me, I'm a press resistant. I'm Kovacic plus what's his name plus Romeo Lavia, both they say the ability in beating the press both combined. So you guys should give it a shot. Yeah, this says Chelsea have won all three matches Cole Palmer has started this season. They've won only two. Again, what? They've won only two of the seven that he hasn't. Okay. Yeah, and Mauricio Pochettino, as we've heard, that he's a very superstitious man. So probably, most likely, if he sees these, he's gonna be starting until that changes. Yeah, Kova and Romeo Lavia combined in terms of beating the press. Yep, I'm gonna beat you too. I alone. I'm a mashup of Kova and Lavia in terms of being press resistant. But that's, by the way, 29 likes. People keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. We're gonna continue the Chelsea seasons. The Blue Morning Shows now will be the Blue Morning Shows slash fans' opinion until the international break ends. So yeah, but let's hear you. The link to the panelists pinned at the very top. You can come on in, let us know. You can say, give us your 2 cents on whatever topic we're talking about. I don't know if anybody on the panel wants to talk about this. For me, I honestly, I'm not that superstitious. I don't usually, if I'm a coach, I wouldn't, for the sake of the fact that we haven't lost a game whenever a player plays, to continue starting that player. I'm not like that, but I don't know if anybody else wants to speak about that. You go ahead.
Coach,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it seems like they don't respect Marco Corella also. Marco Corella played our previous games and we won them. So please show some respect to Marco Corella.
Yep. So not just we get
Palmer.
feedback from your end, bro.
I'll go and come back.
Yeah. So because of the feedback, you're not getting your cake. For me, I don't know, Jerry Z, you want to speak about that? For me, it's nothing to me. But people like to highlight that, and
No, it's
we've just heard Tobeho say, even Kukure had the same thing. So, but let's hear you.
as you say in your word, it's totally like horse, you know. So of course it doesn't make sense. And as much as I've researched on Pochettino, I don't know if he's really that superstitious that he will be taking or making decisions based on these facts. And so personally, a man like me who would definitely never ever take into not only superstition but not even emotions or my affection towards any player when making professional decisions for an organization and a team. So I don't take this seriously at all.
All right, thank you so much. And the Blue Makalele says Constantine Dante. Coach, good day to you. To Samik Telecom Nigeria says that just to say hi to you and the participants to this program. I am slightly balanced today and have nothing to share here. Thanks, but at least you said hello to us. That's important to us, and more importantly, I hope you've been all right because I haven't seen you in a while. Do let us know in the chat. And if you're watching once more, I always like to say hello to Liam Lane. I haven't reached out for a while to ask him how he's doing. I hope you're doing well. If you're in the chat, again, the link to the panel is pinned at the very top. If you want to come onto the panel and give us your 2 cents, we're willing to listen to you and hear what you have to say with any particular topic that we're talking at this point. Who is Tobeho? Tobeho is my brother from the Madiba land, a content creator and the owner and sole presenter on the YouTube channel, the coolest Charles. Yep. Who is Jerry C? Jerry C is our statsman. Excellent delivery in terms of analysis of games, analysis of players. He's also a good writer. Who is Bobby? Bobby is where's that B4? Where's that thing again? Why did I forget? I hope I can find it. B4. The blue, blue blood Bobby. I think I'm missing one B. Okay, big up the blue blood Bobby. I like that, and I hope I don't forget again. And Mr. Troublemaker CFC, RAFC. I already now saying the transfer window that Eden will retire before he said that he want to enjoy his family and drink Belgian beer even more. There were rumors of him maybe playing in Belgian league. People were saying that he's getting ready to start playing again. Coach, I cannot still get my head around you being Kova, not just Kova. I say the mashup of Kova and Romeo Lavia. I take their dribbling ability both, and you can say ability to beat the press. That way I can deal with you and the Bluetooth game quite well. Who's the start pad merchant? That's Jerry Z, our statsman. 'Cause, 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 'cause Adeyemi Ariyo, so to speak. Sorry for butchering your name at first. Hello, coach. I have noticed that any team which wins the league cup or title, one or two players always play outstandingly in that season. That is what we lack right now. Wow, we don't have that. You can say what's the language I'm looking for, or the term I'm looking for? Is that change? Is it change or difference maker? Maybe for lack of a better term. That may well be the term I'm looking for, but right now my brain is telling me that isn't correct. But that's by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes will go along with 29 likes. We should be doing better than that. Yep. Coach, when I asked who they are, I was asking which players they would be. Okay. Now I get it. We'll move on from Cole Palmer. This says that Chelsea are not worried about Axel Disasi's injury as he left the French national team, maybe as a precaution. Chelsea believe it's just a small problem. Yeah, that makes me happy. I'm not concerned because you can say in that department we're lacking numbers. If anything, we just have players who are returning from injury and aren't, you can say, maybe not really ready to start games. Yeah, the blue McDominay. Just go with. Let's see what else we have lined up here. And this one says Bayern Munich remain interested in trusted defender Trevor Chalobah, who is still keen on the move ahead of the January transfer window. It is very likely Chalobah will leave in January. Good luck to him. As Boniface, my friend there says in the comments, you can say a response to that particular report, quoting Plitigo. Yeah, good luck to him if he wants to leave. Here's the thing, it looks like he's bent on leaving, which means the club, just pay up and the club will let him go. Unfortunately, he's a player I want to stay. As much as I like other defenders we have within our ranks, I think he's, you can say, we don't, none of them is can be as aggressive as Trevor Chalobah can be, and I really do want us to mix it up. I don't want all ball playing defenders with cannot be aggressive. We're turning into that sort of Manchester United defensive line that were all ball playing defenders, but defensively, they're not really that good at it. But that's just my opinion. We'll move on from that. Let's see. Thanks. Okay. Edan. Max Kali, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you. Hope maybe again, I'm not too sure of the language you used there. 25 million, I think. Not pure profit it will be because he's an academy product. So probably he will go. I don't think the owners and I'm sure you mean pounds, not dollars. The owners they're not pushovers in terms of our transfer dealings. And in terms of selling players, they pay premium when they want to sign players, and they want to sell players. They don't sell for cheap too. So chances are they're not going to agree to sell them. They're not going to agree to sell them for 25 million pounds. Given how I know them, and Chalobah, it's not like his contract ends in 2 years. He's when does his current contract expire? Just give me a second. And if you want to come to the panel and give us your 2 cents, the link to the panel is pinned at the very top. You can do that. And please, if you're in the chat there, do go and check out the link I shared where you learn more about Eden Hazard. About 25 seconds or so, at most 25 seconds video. Just give me a second. Let's see. Trevor Chalobah Chelsea contract. Chalobah Chelsea contract. Okay, Trevor Chalobah Chelsea contract. When does he end? Okay. Just give me a second. I'll be with you in a few seconds. Yeah, let me find out when it expires. Whoa. Yeah, so it ends 2027 28 season. Yep, I think I'm looking at the correct thing here. So he's on a long-term contract. I think he signed that under Thomas Tuchel's reign, which means we're not going to be in a hurry to sell him. If you want him, yeah, I think that's correct. Let me look at it.
Yeah, that's correct, coach.
Is that correct?
Yes, because it's ended, I think, before or after we won the Super Cup under Thomas Tuchel.
Okay,
So,
I think he expires in 2025, 2026. Yeah, he becomes a free agent in 2026, which means it is until 2025. But go ahead.
yes, so we still have a chance to play around with teams. If they don't want to play the pay the premium, let the boy stay. But hopefully stays. But at the end of the day, it's up to the club and himself.
Yeah, and here's still something else I want to say. I didn't think the club were really interested in signing him, but he indicated he wanted to leave. Yep. He indicated he wanted to leave. I think that's why we're saying okay, because the new owners, I'm seeing a pattern. If they ever sense that you don't want to be here, they say okay, no problem. If you want to go, we're willing to sell it. But if you get you want to stay, then all they ask of you is just sign a new contract and we're good. But yeah, I don't think we're selling for cheap. A pound, yeah, okay, I understand that. I am not sure why we kept him. To be honest, drive his price down more because he's not been playing. But even at that, the new owners, I think he gets to play probably, and he's a good defender. He should have known as well. He's not ahead of others. I think he knew, but Bayern wanted to take him on loan, and Chelsea didn't want him to leave on loan. We wanted Bayern to pay up and take him on a permanent deal if they wanted him, and they wanted him on loan, and we didn't want that risk anymore. So yeah. Let's see. Once we bought this I think that was when he wasn't comfortable staying, and you can say we have numbers in that department. Honestly, we move
But
on from
coach,
that. Yeah, go ahead.
the reason why we bought Disasi was because Trevor Chalaba and Fofana were injured, right? So we had to get someone who can fill that space. So we had no choice but to buy him.
Yeah, we had no option to buy him at the time, but he's a good player too. More importantly, we didn't just buy him for the sake of buying him. We paid, I think, 45 million euros for him. But at the same time, he's a fine player. Once we bought the Sassi, you think, and this one here talks about the elephant in the room, as Richard would call him, the mammoth in the room. Romelu Lukaku set to join Roma on a permanent deal as Chelsea agree exit price for the unwanted Blues striker. And rumors are that we're going to get 35 million pounds for him. Is that correct, Atabejo? You could say,
Coach, sorry about it. You said what?
For Romelu Lukaku, how much did you hear we're going to get for him?
Chelsea put a release clause around 35 euros, if I'm not mistaken. 37, I mean, for any team to buy him next season. So we'll wait and see if Roma wants him or other teams. Hopefully, we'll get a bidding war so we can get more. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. But rumors are that we've actually agreed a deal. So he's definitely signing for Roma on a permanent.
I think that is still early for these people to say this. It's still early.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Once we put the Sassi app, that was when he decided he was going to leave. What price for Lukaku around that? I don't think I don't remember whether what I saw was in euros or pounds. But even if it was in euros, it's still a good price. I think I agree with you. That would be amazing if Roma buy him. Rumors are we've already agreed that he's going to leave and join them on a permanent, and he's happy there. If you listen to his interview, he's singing Mourinho praises, how he talked about how Mourinho, you say, Mourinho knows his family, everyone knows his children and all that. So good luck to him. But I did see a tweet from a tweet from Glenn asking the question, wasn't it the man that dumped him at United or something to that effect.
So
hope he can play well in Serie A, and Roma will buy him at 40 million at least. I think rumors are saying we've already agreed his departure. They just have to pay up at the end of the season. Let's hear you, Jerezi. You wanted to say something.
No, I just wanted to confirm. According to Daily Mail, it's 37 million pounds, not euros.
So has it been agreed already? So will he certainly be joining Roma on a permanent?
It's a release clause that has been set into his contract. So
and they're willing to pay.
We have to see that.
Okay, but thank you for that. By the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 33 likes. We should be doing better than that. If you are enjoying it, that's the way we have to keep ourselves busy throughout the, you can say, the boring days of the international break. You guys are talking about Italian teams. It wouldn't pay that much. If Mourinho wants him, they will pay up, and it's a clause, so they have to pay. And I think I remember before he left on loan I think we agreed on the clause before he left on loan to Roma. They will say they did us a favor, taking them on loan, and would want more a discount. I don't think it happens with these new owners. They're not into that anymore. I think they got fed up at one point, which was why Lukaku didn't end up joining Inter Milan. But that's, by the way, we appreciate you for that. And this one here, again, Eden has it himself. So let's start. Let's take it one by one, because the transfer window is 2 weeks. A long way to go. So I wanted to go to Fort Mob, excuse me. Let's hear you, Jerezi. Let's start with the Liverpool game. Let's take the games one by one. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't make sense to try to knock them out at the same time, because the international break, 2 weeks. Yeah. Let's talk about the Liverpool game. I don't know do you want me to open the stats that particular game so we can look at the statistics? Would that be better for you, or you can talk about that game?
I can talk on this game. It's on my tips, right? So of course stats would only help, could further help to be very specific, but generally, like this game, when we this was the first game of the season, and we had a terrific preseason, and everyone was confident we had a good season. We were undefeated in the preseason. Pochettino used a 4-2-3-1 system, and at times, one time I remember using a 4-3-3
in the Liverpool game.
No, I'm just giving a historic context if any audience missed it. So in the preseason, he was using 4-2-3-1. He used 4-3-3 in one game. I don't remember on top of my head. And in one game, he used a 4-4-2. So now coming back to the Liverpool game, of course, the environment, the momentum, confidence was good. Of course, everyone was a little bit skeptical because it was a new squad, but the atmosphere was good. Everyone was excited. So here we go. First thing was like a little bit shock, and everyone was taken by surprise when Pochettino decided to go with a 3-4-2-1. And it was very surprising, like no one expected, and people were, before this kickoff, were even criticizing Pochettino why he used that formation. Anyhow, so when the game started, it was very difficult in the initial phase for Chelsea to keep hold of the ball and the possession. And Liverpool were dominating. They had the possession. They were playing with a lot of intensity. And the problem that Chelsea were facing in the initial part was a big disconnect from the left wing and right wing and their central defenders. So whenever the Chelsea midfield or McAllister will make a pass, they will find it 1v1 with Levy Colwill or Chilwell at most instances, and then the disconnect apparently, and the positioning was so huge. All Liverpool needed was just one flick, one pass to Salah or to Diaz, so it was very easy. And so it looked that Liverpool would absolutely dominate the game and hurt us. So Salah scored the first goal with all these aspects, all these things I mentioned. So he was very successful. He easily scored the first goal, and his second goal, that was the turning point. Luckily, not his goal, sorry, the second goal that Liverpool scored Salah didn't score the first goal. So sorry, Salah made the assist for the first goal, and Diaz scored the first goal. So the second goal that Salah scored, that was ruled out because of the offside. And that was a very important moment of the game. And I believe after 30 minutes or so, something from that part, all the way till the end, then Chelsea started coming back in the game. We found momentum, we equalized through the header, of the Sassi. So that was a great moment. And then Ben Chilwell beautifully took the shot. He moved to the right and calmly and composedly struck the second goal. But unfortunately for Chelsea, that was again an offside. So, but the good thing is when the goal was rolled off, and it was again 1-1. When it came in the second half, Chelsea completely dominated the game from possession, from attack, from the whole structure. Pochettino changed the structure, went back to 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 at times. It was no more a 3-4-2-1. So it was a good thing that Pochettino changed the structure and we were playing with more fluidity. And it was an amazing way, the way we played the game. We controlled the ball, and then we were playing a lot from the middle. And the only thing at that time in the first game, just to conclude this, because there's so many things and the excitement is off the page, right? When we talk about the games, at that time we were happy because we were completely dominating. We pinned Liverpool. We were so intense that Liverpool were basically pinned in their own half most of the times. There were only a few instances later on the game when I believe it was Van Dijk. Sometimes it's difficult to recall. His shot almost was went into the goal very late into the second half. So all in all, it was a 1-1. But what I'm trying to say is that it was the first game we were all happy with the performance, but it wasn't. No one at that time knew or had an idea that the problem would start to add up, because in that game we could have won, if not more, at least 3-1, right? But we were not clinical. But no one at that time was worried about it, right? But in the following 5-6 games, we could see that our lack of finishing, our
Let's here's the thing, Jerry. Let's stick with this particular game because the international break is 2 weeks, so we want to take it game by game.
I'm not talking about the second game. I'm just saying I'm only talking about Liverpool game. Don't worry, I got the question. I was just saying that I was just trying to summarize that in this game, when we were having problems to finish to score the goal, to be clinical in front of the goal, this problem was already existed in the Liverpool game. But we found out later, of course, when we were having all these problems, just because we dominated possession, we dominated the game, we at that time, the fan base or the critics didn't realize that we could potentially face this problem moving ahead. So that was this problem, and it showed in the next few games. So all in all, it was a great performance. And then unfortunately, when we'll analyze the future games, we'll see that things didn't. We couldn't keep the momentum, and things changed, and primarily because of the injuries, in my belief.
Yeah, let's hear you in the chat. Let's hear your opinion on the Liverpool game. What are your observations from that particular game? Why do you think we didn't get to win? Because we created good enough chances to win. We'll look at the numbers overall. Eden Hazard was the Chelsea legend, and let me remix that a bit for you. Eden Hazard is still a Chelsea legend, in my opinion, but I get it. I know you again. Chelsea legend, a brilliant memories all around. I think I agree with you. Jerry Z doesn't need to open anything, coach. It's all up there in his head. You can say that. With the CC improved, getting 15 million for Chalobah can be good. I still like him. Would have loved him to stay, but I think for Chelsea, the new owners, the moment they sense you want to leave, that's it. They're not going to even consider keeping you again. What currency? I don't think we can get 50 million pounds for him. If anything, it will be euros because he hasn't played that much. Can we swap Jerry Z for Mathis Delete? Let's see. Keep dropping the lights on the stream, people. We want to hear you. The Liverpool game. The first game of the season. Why do you think Chelsea didn't win that one? I think the goal we considered, I remember on the day, the Sassi, we could say, was still a bit rusty. Yep, he joined us a few days, and then boom, I was shocked that he was started in that game. It turns out it was the correct decision. He scored the equalizing goal, but we shouldn't have conceded. Probably, I'm not here to blame him. Today is the day we celebrate legend Eden Hazard and GFC Gavin. I hope you're doing well, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And if you're watching it from sorry,
I really had to tap in. So I just wanted to announce on the behalf of I wanted to announce that today is our friend Tibago's his birthday. So I just wanted to announce so
Yeah,
we can
once more. Yeah.
celebrate in the community.
Yeah, please, if you haven't taken time, or take a second of your time to say happy birthday to our friends and brother to be our brother from the Madiba land. If you don't know what that means, Madiba, that's the name they call former South African president, late South African president Nelson Mandela. So you can, yeah, let's say happy birthday to Tobeho, a very nice guy. I've gotten to know him beyond him being a content creator or being an African brother. I see him as my immediate brother. Yep. So better say happy birthday to Tobeho, otherwise he's gonna fight you. He came on to the panel, all guns blazing, asking for his birthday wish. Yeah, I will still say something.
Coach,
I love it. Yeah.
do you remember our first conversation on your channel?
I will never forget. Let me tell the story before we move on. Unfortunately, we're getting the feedback from your end. So Tobeho came onto the panel, and he was he had a Lukaku agenda at the time. He thought Lukaku was the best player at Chelsea, and and he didn't like the fact that I was saying Lukaku wasn't doing well at Chelsea. I think he actually unsubscribed and left. And he angrily got off the channel on the panel. It was funny that day for me, but he came back. I think at one point he himself realized Lukaku was the problem to some extent. Today, yep. But thank you. If you haven't, if you're in the chat, please go check out CFC Gavin's YouTube channel and subscribe. So Tobeho, if you wanted to say something, go ahead. You have the floor. Okay, he has to go out to come back in. And this says Kachila, some of the classrooms have more kids than our streams today. The kids will regret missing the Jersey mathematics class. Okay. Jersey should not deviate from his natural talent, which makes a Shakespeare nervous. Just go away, man. I'm better at playing tennis. Let's see what else we have here. What a legend. Today is a day we should celebrate that great man. I think we should. A fine player. The Premier League should celebrate him. The football world should also celebrate Eden Hazard. What a player he was. He will be missed. I have no problem with a fight, like a good fight. Yeah, always nice. His name gives it away. I think you could say that again. So let's see. Before that game, I'm trying to see the poll, which usually tells who people thinks will win the game. We can't find any here. Does it go away after the game? I'm quite sure a lot of people at the time.
I don't remember the poll, but I remember very well that we were discussing before the game, and overwhelmingly, I just remember that people.
Yeah, I think we'll find it. But go ahead.
Thought it will be a draw. That's all I remember.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't give us a chance. So you're correct. Look at the poll here, which asks the question, who will win? 52% of people who voted thought Liverpool will beat Chelsea. 33% of thinks Chelsea believed at the time that Chelsea will beat Liverpool. And 50% at the time thought the game will end in a draw. And the sample size is 129,000 votes. That's a lot of people. That was because, and that I think we had Liverpool fans in the chat saying how they were mentioning the names of the midfielders.
I was not
they had
referring
at the
to this. I was talking about the panel and our community in the chat. So I recall very well that because we had a series of draws with Liverpool. So I was talking about our sample size, say 30, 40 people. So yeah, that stat is showing otherwise.
Yep. And at the time, Liverpool lost a game. We didn't lose any after preseason. Throughout the preseason, I think we drew 2 games. They drew 1 and lost 1 at the time. Team form at the time. So I like this. They still show you relevant team form at the time. So people at the time were thinking they were going to win, beat us. But we played better on the day, actually, in my opinion. And head-to-head at the time still is, because we haven't met again after then. They have more wins, 14 wins for them, 10 wins for us, and 12 draws. Where's the statistics for that particular game? So we had 65% possession. They had 35. Expected a goal 1.35 for us and 1.28. So we did better in that department. Total shots, they had 10 shots. 13 shots, we had 10. Shots on target. Wow. So we actually did very well that day. James, you're paying attention to the numbers on the screen.
I am, and that
They
is
had
why
only one shot, a single
look down
shot
at
on
the
target.
stats.
Yeah, go ahead.
The stats, as much as people like or dislike, this is the way to move forward. Stats is exactly what the performance on the pitch is in the data. It's not a disconnect, it's the same thing. So if we see the game in the first 30 minutes, just to make it very short, because we can always go for hours and hours, because these things take a lot of time to analyze and put them in their relevance.
Yeah,
so in
go
the
ahead.
first 25-30 minutes, it looks like Liverpool was absolutely dominating the game, and they were, with possession, with the passing, with the they were taking on our wingers and easily penetrating in the box in the final third. But only one shot on target, and that was the goal. So that is interesting, and that is relevant. That is very relevant. As much as Liverpool were dominant, they were only able to have one shot on target, and in the last 60 minutes they couldn't even attempt a single shot on target. And conversely speaking, we did dominate as well, but 4 is not. It looks better, of course, compared to Liverpool. But we should have taken our chances, and we were lacking the creativity in the final third. But anyhow, we dominated the game. But this thing, when we look forward, I'm not talking about other games. I know we are talking about this games, but this would become a pattern. What I'm saying, that this game and these analyses and these stats would become a pattern and a problem for us of creating chances. Not so much, but also like more so in converting the chances. So yeah, all in all, I need to appreciate our first performance. Only one shot on target from Liverpool against Chelsea.
Yeah, it was again. It wasn't a good performance on the day, but we were wasteful in front of goal. To be honest, Nicholas Jackson, I will never forget that miss on the day. But I'm not holding him to it. It's past now, and we're starting to pick up form. So yeah, XG, we had better XG. We suggest we should have won the game. Total shots, 10 shots. They had 13 shots, but only one on target. And I think they scored with that one, right? So let's see.
Yes, the Luis Diaz goal. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had 4 shots on target in total. Big chances created. They created 2. We created 5. And we missed 4 of our big chances. Wow. We were
and
wasteful.
That is why, ladies and gentlemen, binary and non-binary friends, that is why the owners, sporting directors, and everyone is being confident for Pochettino and the performance. It's not a myth. It's not a delusion, because see the number of chances, the big chances, and it's a pattern, right? So we were not able to convert these chances, and in the last 2-3 games we did. So the whole point is, and when we'll analyze other games and we'll talk about other games and the analysis for the Arsenal game, this is the only issue. And yes, this is the most important issue, to score goals. But the thing is that it will come. And of course, with the training, we let's hope we can do so. But what people debate is say, no, the data and stats are not saying anything. No, they are saying, telling you everything, that we dominated the game, or if not dominated, we were in control larger part of the games, right? And the goals which we conceded, and most of the analysts also, including Roger, agree that there were only instances where we let them have the ball, or they had a counter attack, similarly like the one in the last game, right, against Burnley or against Aston Villa. So all in all, it shows that the team is playing well. They are playing with control. There are some areas to fine tune. It's not like we are nowhere. Like it will go for a longer time. So let me wrap up. If we compare with Man United, although they are 1 point ahead of us, but their performance is really, really concerning. If you compare their performance to our performance, we can see that our performance is very good. Let's say we have been unlucky that we couldn't even take so many chances. We should have at least 4-5 points more than where we are.
Yeah, just quickly, name gives it away a bit. I think I've read that one. It's a joke for the Mr. Troublemaker. And Tobejo, he shared the link to his YouTube channel once more. Please go check it out. From Constantine Dante, Mr. Troublemaker, GFC, Gavin, all of you in the chat that hasn't checked out his YouTube channel, please do so. Subscribe and let him know I sent you. Hit the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel. We have just 35 likes. but that's okay. We're having fun here, and I like it. And this is a good idea for sure. We take the games one by one. We take us to 8 days, and we can mix it up with other topics. Dante, I want you on the panel again. If anybody wants to join the panel and give us their respective 2 cents, the link to the panel is pinned at the very bottom. Let's say Guardian of Eve, then you can call him that. The man did. No, okay, people having a conversation there. I don't like clickers. Okay, what are they talking about there? And Chimera, nice to see you. Much love to you. Oh, the Peach, we draw off the Peach. We beat them twice. Casado, Lavia. I have to say, every game the past a few years against Liverpool, we drew. Yep, it has been a draw after draw after draw after draw. So I was not surprised with Drew again. I think last season I remember it was the Bluetooth game saying every Liverpool game will end in a draw before during the pre-game show. She said that quite a lot. Okay, those stats are deceiving. In what sense? Elaborate. We want to hear you. Do you think they should have won the game? That's what I want to hear. Kachila, I almost fell asleep until somebody clapped. Is there a football game? Oh, sorry, we are talking mathematics. Okay, I'm not gonna read such again. You cannot go by just stats alone. Yeah, but we're not going by stats alone. Even before looking at eye test on the
what,
day,
what kind of with all due respect, what kind of an argument is that, right? Of course, I'll be respectful and professional. I'm just saying, no, I'm just saying with the eye test, even the stats are not giving the right picture. If you are saying we go with the eye test, then we were head and shoulders above Liverpool in that game. We should have won 3-1 or 4-1. So what? I'm not being angry or anything. I'm just asking, what is it that I or we are saying that is so wrong? Of course, stats also showed it, and the way we watched the game with our eyes, we were dominant. So no one even said that Liverpool were better than Chelsea. Chelsea were much better than Liverpool on that day after 30 minutes, from 30 minutes to 90 minutes. So what is the confusion, or what is the objection? So I would like to hear that.
And to be honest, if we're saying the truth, I think he himself, Constantine, knows we don't even need numbers to say, yeah, we played better than Liverpool on the day. Yeah. So if you're talking about we cannot go by stats alone. Yeah, we both watched the game. I watched the game. I'm quite sure you watched the game, and I'm quite sure you can agree we played better than them. At one point, they had to just defend. Yep, they had to just defend, and even during the post-game interview, what's his name? Trent Alexander-Arnold did say something to the effect of, yeah, there's no shame in it. Sometimes you just have to defend. We were better than them. That all they had to do at one point in the game was defend. So, but for you, if you're in the chat, if you're interested, the link to the panelist pinned at the very top. Can give us your 2 cents. What do you remember of that game? Talk about it. We want to hear it. And yeah, and Jerry, something else. Okay, here it says, no, Jerry, it's just a banter. Don't take it personal, but you are genuinely overcooking on stats and clapping your own achievements. Here's the
Mr. JC, 1 second. I'm very professional. So, Mr. JC, so you are telling me I'm looking at this stat and then I'm clapping. I'm not clapping for myself. I don't need that, right? I don't need to show anything.
Chelsea's performance.
I was clapping for Chelsea's performance, right? So if you disagree, what you're saying is that you are telling me you disagree that Chelsea were better on that day. First of all, even the critics, even the people who are completely against Poch, completely against the owners, it was a unanimous analysis, post-game analysis. I don't even remember any single analyst on any platform who said that Liverpool played better. Even the most harsh critics said we were unlucky not to have won the game. So I don't understand. I respect all the opinions, but please back your statements with some facts.
All right, here's the thing. Something I like here. Yeah, that's what I wanted from you. Elaborate. He says we played better second half. Yes, we did not dominate them. In the second half, we dominated them, especially towards the end of the game. We dominated, you can say, the last 15 minutes of the game. I think I record every game. So I'm going to find this one and watch it again. We dominated them, especially towards the end of the game. They had to defend. And I'm going to say this again, quoting Trent Alexander-Arnold. He said specifically, there's no shame. Sometimes all you have to defend. And they had to defend especially the last 15 minutes, not to concede because we were on them consistently, in my opinion. So, but again, coming to your argument, and you are entitled. We're all entitled to our respective opinions, and that's why we're here. If we all agree, we don't have a show, and hopefully nobody's taking anything personal. And I like it that you presented that. I said we shouldn't base our judgment on the statistics alone or the numbers alone. But I also have mentioned, listen, it's not about the numbers alone. That yeah, I test this show on the day that we played better. I don't need numbers to tell me whether we were better than Liverpool on the day, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this one. He hates Spurs is in the game. I'm not sure what to make of that one. Or maybe it's a term that I'm not familiar with. But let's hear you. You're here, JC. What are you here to talk about the game? Let's hear you. If you want to talk about
No,
the
I
game
just
as it's
wanted.
good.
No, I just wanted to clarify. I mean, he says like be more elaborate. So typing everything is more difficult. I mean, it took you. What I'm saying is, we all know, all during the game and straight after the game, we told like Chelsea were better. I mean, I find it a little bit funny that you are telling this today that Chelsea was better because you looked at stats. That's what I'm saying. You are overcooking the stats. I mean, if somebody understands football strategy, how the game went, everybody knew. I mean, we just didn't score, but we were better. I mean, you don't need stats to show that.
That brings us to the
And it took
argument.
like three
That,
months
that
to
that brings us
realize
to the
this is funny,
argument.
you know.
Just one second, quickly. Of Constantine saying that we shouldn't base our judgment on stats alone. But the truth is, we don't need stats to know that we beat them. But talking about the game. Numbers will help us
But you'll
understand
have, once
how well we
again,
did on the day. But go ahead, Jersey.
Once again, I would
JC.
like to highlight very much important point. Stats are an outcome, but they are a tricky thing. Everybody twists them as they want to show some point or the other. You cannot lose the importance of the game itself and how you see as a plan, as a strategy, and everything. Stats just is a supplement thing. You don't run football by stats.
No,
People are
that's just you
overcooking
know that's
stats.
just your opinion.
Uh, if you think so, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's your opinion. Some people run football based on stats, but we're not running football based on stats. We're just looking at the game to better understand what really
yeah, but
happened on the day because we're
here's again.
revisiting the game.
No, okay,
Nobody's saying, but go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I understand. Like you are trying to defend. I mean, you are also like a big size defender. I get it, but I'm also a good striker. Huh? You do not plan your game based on stats. You
But
don't
when
pick
go
your
ahead.
11 based on stats.
Mm.
You pick your 11 based on certain qualities and how you want to structure your team. You do not have statistics of who's on a better frame of mind of playing and everything. We are overcooking stats on this stream right now today. And we
No,
are,
that's just your opinion. What else do you want us to talk about? Do you
so
want us
I'm
to talk
trying to
about
explain
how?
why.
No, I'm coming. Do you want us to talk about that Reece James dribbled the other player? We could look at Reece James and say on the other day he had two crosses into the box. That's part of it. I'm not sure. I think it is you that's taking it out of context. We're just here to revisit the game. We'll all watch the game, but the numbers will help us understand how everything happened on the day, the events of the game. Numbers take you to how many, for instance, how many chances were created. They had one shot on target, and I did not need the numbers to show me that. But looking at it, the numbers reminded me to. So I'm not sure where you're taking this to, but it's a good
Yeah,
conversation. You
okay,
go
fine,
ahead.
fine.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
then
No,
it's
you go
fine. Then
ahead.
it's fine. But okay, that's a correct way to say. Then I agree. I mean, everybody has his own glasses to look at how they look at the game. Somebody would be able to realize a different aspect looking at the stats. Yeah, sure, definitely. I agree to that. I mean, some people look at it through. Everybody looks at game and through different prisms, and some prefer to do it in a more structured, statistical way. Some look at it in a different aspect. Well, fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But I'm just trying to say is you cannot be overemphasizing as it was said, like today, like we discovered Einstein moment, like stats are the everything. No, they are not.
Here's the thing: you need both. and this is not the first time I'm saying that. I've actually put out a poll. Some people saying they rely on stats only. Some say they're visuals only. Some visuals in terms of video clips or watching the game. Some say you need both. And for me, you need both. They both align to help you. For instance, I don't go by judging by stats alone and look at stats alone and say this player is good. I look at stat and I see the player's performance on the pitch and I say, yeah, he's really a good player. You need both. Here's the thing. They say numbers don't lie. And that's no fact as much as close as that.
Here's the thing, Coachella. Here's my biggest argument against this. Stats is a summarization of history, of historical how the game went.
And can you learn anything from it?
You plan your future, and you sometimes need certain data to understand like how is it going, but you don't plan based on stats.
Do you know you're contradicting literally?
No, I'm not.
Contradicting yourself. Okay,
listen. I let me explain you.
I'm enjoying this one, but go ahead.
So let me explain you. If say Reece James makes very good crosses, okay, so you are going to plan your team. Okay, I need a crosser here who has the largest amount of crosses in last 5 games. I'm going to put that player as right back. Is it? I mean, is that the way you will be choosing your team for a game of football?
Stats
looking at the statistics of last 5 games, or you're going to plan your team according to the opponent who's there and how which players are you have and how you want to plan. You might have a different structure. Football is much more dynamic than planning future with basing on the stats.
Let me say this. You're actually the one dragging this to where you think we're going with. We're here to look at Chelsea's season so far, look at the games and see what the numbers can tell us. We all watched the game. Looking at the numbers will help us also revisit the events of the day and see in this department, they did better than that department. So you are the one dragging this to where it shouldn't go.
No, I am not. By the way,
no, you Jerry? Are. We can ask those people in the chat.
Where is Jerry? We were having a discussion with Jerry. You just start tapping in between and he ran away.
I can assure you he didn't run away. I can assure you.
I'm just joking. We were having a conversation with Jerry. Because I wanted to really have a conversation with him.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I really wanted to have a conversation with him because I think he's overcooking on that part. I don't agree. He might not agree, but we were trying to have a conversation on that. But you just being like the Coachella, of course. I mean,
just go away.
You are the referee today. Okay.
No, yes, okay. I'm not maybe the referee. Some other day. Without such you could say intellectually driven argument, the show is not going to be enjoyable. You understand? Okay. And here's the thing. Even before there's a term for it in football, people have been using stats because you have to know the last time this player played, he scored 4 goals, he created 2 chances. It's still stats without even naming it that. It's still statistics. And well, again, I'm going to repeat myself. This show is about revisiting, again, taking a look back at the 8 games we played so far, one by one, just to keep us busy until the end of the international break. And we started with the Liverpool numbers, and there's no way you can, just can't tell me, you tell me we played better than Liverpool. And for instance, what's his name? For instance, Constantine Dante argued we didn't dominate them, which is a solid argument, and it's allowed. That's why we're here. That's why I love to do on the show. And now I went back, I told him, can he elaborate? And then he said,
me give you another metaphor. Maybe that will put my point across to you.
I totally understand your point, but I'm just saying.
You're still not getting it.
No, because you're dragging us to where we didn't want to go in the first place. We don't have to be arguing whether stats are important or not.
Then you don't want to listen to the other argument. Then you just want to stay away from that. That's okay. That's fine with me.
No, go ahead, Chelsea. Go ahead.
That's fine with me.
Go ahead, Chelsea. I'm listening to you. Before you accuse me of not listening to you, I've listened to you.
Let's summarize it. I think there are people who are more very much like believing in stats and new technology, and there are people who are totally old school. But I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. But we shouldn't be cooking too much on stats and all. Another example: if you are, say for example, you are hiring somebody and you have 20,000 applicants, of course you need stats to filter them down. But when you filter them down to last 10, you cannot be choosing based on stats. You will be talking to those people. Kuchila, I don't hear you. Is it my stream?
No, coach, you can hear you, coach.
Jesse, the question I was asking you, what is the importance of statistics? History, right? You said that yourself. Jesse, are you
Sorry,
there?
I didn't hear you. I mean, something wrong with my stream, or I do not know.
Okay, what is the importance of statistics? What importance does it serve? History, right?
Stats
Record.
can be, see, the statistics can be used in a good way, as I see it.
No,
It's like,
you're not answering my question. What is the essence? What's the importance? What do we use it for? History, right? Or record of something?
yeah, you have a database to analyze certain things,
So what are we doing? We're revisiting the Liverpool game, and you cannot. There's no way, no matter who you are, to off the top of your head and say this is everything that happened on the day. And that was exactly what we were doing. But you, Jerry, and everybody, I think you misunderstood Jerry's argument, and I think Jerry probably took it personal because she said he was clapping for himself. So my point is this: it depends on who you ask. As for me, I believe you need statistics and then you need eye test.
no, but Kochila, let me interrupt here. I will repeat what Jerry said and where this whole argument started. Where the funny part started was when I made joke is when Jerry said, like, stats are the future. I said, no, stats are not the future. He said stats are the future and he was clapping there.
And stats is relative. Numbers don't lie, they say. That's a fact. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, numbers don't lie, and numbers can tell you more than eye test, but you need both. In my opinion, but here's the thing: we've deviated from the main topic, and I think we've covered everything on the day. For me, towards the end of the game, we played better, and I did mention Trent Alexander-Arnold's post-game response to an interview where he said, yeah, there's no shame in it. They had to defend at the points because we were on them. We were on them, and I didn't need the statistic to know that they had only one shot on target. But today, that the statistics reminded us that. So my point is, it depends on who you ask. Numbers don't lie, but you don't need numbers alone. You need eye tests for confirmation. And that's not why we're here. We're practically doing history. We're going back to a game that we've played before. How well did we do on the day? For instance, if you say, if we base it on eye test alone, some people will tell you, well, I played them. But if we find a way to go half by half, we'll find out we played them towards the end of the game even more. And numbers show, yeah, that's a game we could have won, in my opinion. So I don't know.
Coach,
we are unnecessarily taking it to a direction we shouldn't be going. But go ahead. You were speaking to Beho.
yes, another thing I want to ask JC, since he said like stats are not the future. Let's say, for example, Chelsea is playing with another team that we never played against. So are you telling me Pochettino can just fill these players without checking the statistics of that team that you are going to play with, or is just gonna tell the boys do this and that and that? Because what I know about football, we plan the game against the opposition because of how they play, what are their strengths, what are their weakness. So you are telling me that Pochettino gonna tell Enzo just play your normal football. You're gonna tell Jackson just play normal football.
That?
Cool.
Yes. You asked me a question, what will Pochettino do? If Pochettino will be given a choice to either have a video recording of some games of that team or to have the computer statistics only, he will choose to watch a few games.
Nobody's saying that you don't need to watch a few games. Those things help. Let me give you
You
another
see
instance.
how
We're
they
all
play.
saying all of us are correct. You're correct in the sense the stats alone, you need to isn't enough. You need both. For instance, at Mainz, Thomas Tuchel, I think a large portion of the goals his team, no, at Mainz and also, yeah, at Dortmund, a large portion of the goals that his team scored were all carpet crosses. And if you see that as a coach, common sense, when you play them, you tell your fullbacks to be vigilant. They will most likely come from the flanks and they will come centrally. If you get my opinion. Then if you talk about what's his name, the former Bayern coach that we nearly you can say that we interviewed, but he didn't end up playing for us. What's his name? And also Hansi Flick. I think
Nuggesman.
Coach,
Nagelsmann, a large
the thing.
portion
Here's the
of
thing.
the
Let
goals
me tap on.
the Bayern teams have scored for them, chances were created, so you could say created centrally. Even if it's 50-50, you tell your team don't pay attention to the chances that will create from the central area. It is numbers that will tell you. You will look at the numbers. Wow,
But
they
let
created
me tap in
that
on you
much
here.
from
I'm
crosses and
gonna
on the
help you.
cap. It's statistics. We're all saying the same thing. But my point is that you're dragging us to area where we're going with this.
No, Kachila, no. Here's the thing. You look at statistics. Let me type in for you. There are certain statistics which the manager cannot know or not analyze. There is data, there is new science, which helps. Things like body fat level, things like how much stressed are his muscles, what condition a player is in, how much minutes he's been having, is he fit enough for that? These are statistics which are required.
So you're
What is
saying the
his diet,
statistics of
what
how
is his
many
nutrition level, what is his body conditioning is. But if you're telling me he will look at Excel sheets to manage the 25 squad he has, no, I don't think so. He knows the football.
Who talks about him managing the size of this squad? No, that's you talking about
I'm
that.
not saying size of the football squad. I'm saying he has 25 players and he should be knowing them so well that he does not
I'm
need
saying he
Excel
doesn't need
sheets for
stats to
that.
do that too. I never said he needs this. I never said he needs
I mean, you don't
statistics
need
to manage
Excel
the size of
sheets
his
for
squad.
crosses, number of crosses. He should be knowing about his players, that things.
Can I say something? Because
Go ahead, Bobby. Let's hear you. I'm loving this conversation.
I'm sort of, yeah, it's good. This is good
Yeah.
entertainment, but I'm sort of bemused by the argument because I'm not sure what the value is. But still, it's good to hear these opinions. Look, in my opinion, if you want to be effective, you have to use your statistics to strategize. That way, you can know how to improve, you can understand the potential weakness of the opposition and indeed their potential strength. Stats alone can never be used to analyze, strategize, or prepare your team. But if you're intelligent, they can be used within the context of your knowledge of your team and the visual aids of performances to create a better chance of victory or a better chance of improvement. So, yes, you're both right. I'm definitely not opposed to statistics. You've got to use it. In fact, I believe if you don't use statistics in the modern game, you're doing yourself and your team a very, very big disservice.
And here's
Yeah,
the
I
thing,
agree,
Bobby.
Bobby.
I think you said
Here
it
I agree
perfectly.
totally.
Both are important. I'm going to keep repeating myself. Eye test is important. Numbers are important. And I'm going to say this again, Jay-Z, you're the one dragging us to a direction we weren't going with this, to be honest. Honestly, we're here. Stats help you again. It's history. It's a record, and you need it to learn certain things from it. And for me, for instance, before games, we usually look at our insights, aka stats. And I'll still say stats only suggest what the outcome could possibly be, but it's not a certainty because the game is decided over 90 minutes. in my opinion. But let's hear you. We have Roger here. Probably he listened and felt like he didn't want to miss this delicious conversation. I think that's the case. And thank you for JC for making this as delicious as it's becoming right now. I'm enjoying it. And Roger, I'm quite sure that's the case. Just give me 1 second. Let me read this. For argument's sake, coach, check out the stats from the Brighton versus Everton game. A perfect example how the starts and the final results can be polar opposite. Do I know that? Yeah. Stats can suggest what the outcome will be. Stats can let you know what you need to do, whether a certain player from on the opposition side, how successful he's been at putting in couple crosses from the flanks, and then you let your fullbacks know, beware, don't let him put those crosses in. And from those crosses, 10 attempts they've scored out of 8. That's stats. Even when there isn't a term for it, I'm quite sure even when mathematics isn't that popular, mathematics has always been there, because when you calculate you can say what's the term I'm looking for? It's still mathematics. So my point is, even when it's not used commonly in football, people still use stats, because that's when you know that player there is a prolific goal scorer. We must be aware and keep him at bay. But this one is important. Just give me 1 second. 1 second here. Roger, I'll come with you in a few seconds here. He went to his punching bag. JC, they're calling you a bully in the chat. I'm sure you're not, but I like where this is going. Let's see anything else to talk about here. This is the only time I cannot go away, because you're enjoying the conversation, and that's why I'm happy. And I'm happy nobody's taking it personal. If you're not looking at stats, then what are you looking at? Yeah, and if you try to explain what you're looking at, I'll catch you mentioning that you're looking at stats even without knowing you're saying it. I know you're an old school guy. This is modern football stats. JC isn't actually old school. Yeah, I just see him presenting an argument from another perspective, which makes us, so you can say, it has led to us having an intellectually driven argument. In my opinion, numbers don't lie, but stats can be deceiving. Yeah. But unfortunately, stats trumps eye test in so many
another argument.
In my opinion. Just 1 second. Even when it comes to club banter, rivals constantly use stats to make their small points. Yeah, I agree. Low points he used there. Stats are mucho importance. Portuguese to go watch the other games. Not go by stats. And as he was watching the games, he's taking notes. What do you think he's noting down? I'm not going to call it stats, but chances are, if you mention things, what he's written in his notes, chances are, you could say you'll be saying he's noting stats without even knowing it, because he's probably been noting, so many times they're going through the right. Yeah, if you're counting how many times they go through the right hand side, it's still statistics. Yeah, but we're all making sense to highlight the significance of stats. And yeah, here's this guy that's going to make me go to hell one day. Coach is right. Eye tests and stats are important. For example, on paper, Gallagher looks like an industrious, useful player, but the eye test makes you want to pluck your eyes from the sockets with a fork. Just go away. I don't like you. Let's see what else we have here. Gallagher is an industrial, though. He has a use in that team, unlike a certain man. Eye test is most important. Let's see what else we have here. Stats are so very important that even Barca had in the past 90% possession, 25 shots, and losing 1-0 against a small team. I think you're just trying. You could say you're presenting that argument the way it suits your narrative, the way it suits what you want to say. Another example, Coach, stats are very impressive, but the eye test says, let's just go away. I'm not reading that. Roger, let's hear you. Come into the ring.
Hola.
Hola, señor. Gracias. Muchas gracias. What else am I missing here? The Thai version I can't quite.
Mahala.
Let's hear you, Roger.
Gentlemen, I literally Mohala. So listen, this is what I did. I actually just started to listen to the show about 30 seconds before logging on.
And you
so
feel like
I
you're
don't know
never
what
going to
I've
miss
missed.
this one.
I don't know what I've missed. So what are you chaps talking about? I'm assuming
Okay.
the NFL game last night. No, I didn't think so.
Let's
How
hear
is
you,
everybody?
Rosa. We're good. We're
What are we
good.
talk-
We're good.
we're talking
I
about
haven't
statistics.
honestly. I haven't enjoyed the
Yeah,
show
all
that
right, Bobby.
much for a
Can we
long
all
while.
have-
But go ahead.
Are we talking about statistics? Yeah, listen, statistics are exceptionally important in the modern day, especially with the advent of software and computers, etc. But also, one must take into account that statistics can be very deceiving, but misleading, shall we say. But however, if used correctly and appropriately, they can be insightful. So that's all I have to say about statistics. One can always use statistics to back up one's argument because they're so manipulative. However, when you're doing it from shall we say, a 30,000 foot level, as opposed to ground level, then you're out of the fishbowl. You can see through the murky water. So it all depends. I studied applied statistics many moons ago, so I get it. But I think in the modern day, it behooves any sporting organization, no matter what sport it is and no matter what league it is, that they need to review it. Obviously some statistics, listen, and they're very granular now. There was no how many corners you took or what the XG, or there was none of that. It was just basically the score line, and that was it. So, but now, it behooves every organization, especially for recognizing certain players in certain criteria. So I get that, and there are companies and SME subject matter experts that utilize these statistics, and they know what they're doing. You actually have people, they hire people with PhDs in certain analytic circumstances. So it is very insightful, but you must also know how to interpret and utilize those statistics. Otherwise, it's useless ammunition. So that's all I have to say about that.
Do you
to be honest
need a
with you.
statistic to prepare for a game, Roger?
Yes and no. Yes, because for instance, if we're playing team B, and we know that they are more, shall we say, clinical from, let's say, set pieces more than corners, etc., or that they have a tendency to try to score from outside the box as opposed to in, or it basically reinforces the eye test when you review film. Does that make sense? Like player A may cut back in 75% of the time when he's playing on the right-hand side as opposed to the left-hand side. I'm just using farcical examples, but you get my gist. So yeah,
sometimes you don't have to even name it. You'll be using statistics without it being called statistics.
Yeah, and also you have to understand goalkeepers use them, for instance, when analyzing penalty takers, for instance, So because of tendencies, that's why. If I'm in goal and I'm going up against a penalty taker that 94% of the time he kicks low to the right, then guess what? There's a bloody good chance I'm diving low to the right. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you do need to a certain extent, but you cannot base your whole game plan on statistics entirely. No. It has to be reinforced by, shall we say, scouting. But don't forget, you have in the coaching staff, you have people that scout for the next opponent and observe what their tendencies have been, let's say, for the last X amount of games or the X amount of seasons, if that makes sense. So yeah, you do need to a certain extent, but it can't be the holy grail for you. There has to be,
shouldn't.
Yeah. But it's important. In today's game, we've come a long way. Hello, Bobby.
Okay.
How are you,
Yes,
sir?
here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give those in the chat the microphone. I'll come back and I'll have you face off with JC. I'm going to have him ask you a question if he has any, given what you said so far. If he agrees with you, I'll be shocked. After all that now, Roger, I knew Roger will be realistic about it. Of course he is. Oh, he will always be. That's his name. I will a lot. I win a lot of money with these stats. So it's very important. It can give you a very good idea. You can say you can say BET or not to BET. We need Mitch McConnell for this. Mitch isn't here today. Ivan Toney makes his own stats. Let's see. This is the perfect time for the chairman of the Fraudulent Goalkeepers Union to enter the fray. With these stats padding and unwanted opinions wanting to all defenders, do not concede any set piece. Okay. A good one there from the Blue Tiffy game. Arsenal is a small club, but their recent stats show not to take them lightly. Okay, you still call it stats? Yep, because if you're talking about the number of games they won and everything else, I think I agree with you. I did some coaching earlier in life. It is not easy to coach without knowing your opponents. You do not know what to expect, and knowing what to expect, part of it is knowing again to anticipate what they do. You need statistics, whether you call it that or not.
Well,
in my opinion, yeah.
I just woke up after my nap.
Just go away. EAFC is very accurate with their stats. So let's hear you, JC. There you go.
Yeah.
Roger is in the house. You heard him speak. Do you have any counter questions?
I have no. I would actually tap in or pad in, as Beautiful says, for
Don't
Roger.
tell me you're gonna agree with Roger.
No, I think he said some very fantastic things. Like there are certain elements where you do need stats, and these are elements which are not definitely related to your strategy for the game or something, but more information for supplementing your strategy. Because stats can be very misleading. How you use it is important, and stats can be.
Yes.
So you can call statistics as a standardization of certain aspects. And if you standardize everything, then you are killing the creativity of the football. So there can be certain things where you can standardize is like how much water you should be having on your grass, on the pitch, whether it's a game played on grass or where, how quickly the ball has to be recycled or like move in, where to keep your all the medics data, all the stress related data of individual performers within the company itself, like they will be using statistics for their performance. These are things which can be standardized, and there you can justifyingly use statistics. But here's the thing, football is not standard art. It's a sport where everybody is unique, and if you use it wrong, I mean, stats might say certain player is useless, but he might be brilliant in his own way.
Do you know something? If I can quickly interject, stats for this is a free-flowing game, pretty much like rugby, for instance. But when you have stop and start sports like baseball, like NFL, American football, they're very much structured plays. Does that make sense? Like a pitcher will come out and he will recognize, let's say Coachella comes to the plate as a batter. We know that he will always bite on a delivery called a sinker. He will swing and strike out. So you're more often than not, you're going to either pitch inside or whatever. Those are very informative and intuitive to certain sports. I would say as a general observation that a free-flowing sport like football, statistics are slightly less important because they're not set plays, like a pitcher deliberately pitches this ball as opposed to another, or in the NFL, where they know that, if you run the ball off the A gap, off the center, then that you're going to get more yardage than running on as a sweep play on the right hand side. Those are very specific because it's stop and start. It's very much orchestrated. Sports, unlike free-flowing football, so it probably has less impact than other sports. That's what I wanted to differentiate.
Let me ask you this, Roger, quickly. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is statistics to football?
Not as important as other sports because it's free-flowing, in my opinion.
Is there a possibility that you prepare for a game without stats coming into play in any way?
Not in today's game, no.
Coachella, Roger, you can give a very good example. if a game is on and you have to bring in substitutions, you will not look at statistics to bring on your subs.
Nobody's saying that's the case.
So it's a
That's my point.
free-flowing
Let me ask
game,
you
you
this,
know.
Jesse.
It's a
Let me
free-flowing
let me ask
game.
you this. Let me ask
I
you this,
mean, there are
Jesse.
certain games where you could change
So
substitutions.
can I come in after listening for an hour
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bring in
I'll bring
some
you in. Let me.
world-class
I wanted to
quality,
ask Jesse. I wanted
real-life
to ask Jesse one second.
So-
information
Hold
so
on,
our
Jesse. I'm
audience can
coming.
benefit from it, having something that is real and authentic?
Yeah, Jesse, I'm coming. Jesse has a question I want to ask you. What are the things you look for or you consider when you prepare for a game? Assuming you're a coach, can you name a few?
No, coach, but here's the thing. I said that there are certain aspects in the game where you do need statistics. These are for preparation of your games. You use them, yes. I mean, there are medical data, there are other data. There are also like if you
I'm not even
say
going
like,
to the extent of talking about medicals.
yeah, but that's where these are very, very important. More important, I would say, to look at the
But do you
data.
remember the example I used? For instance, Thomas Tuchel at Mainz and the Borussia Dortmund. People knew that let's say, for instance, at Dortmund, the season before he left, the majority of the goals they scored came from crosses on both flanks, and all majority of them on the carpet, and it was predictable. Predictable. Why? Statistics. To me, a statistic for me is very, very important in football.
No,
I'm not
no.
saying football should be all about statistics. Eye test also is important. But if you try to say you can't do
It
without statistics, you
reinforces,
find yourself using statistics even
gentlemen.
without it being called statistics.
So these are,
It's unavoidable.
as Roger correctly puts it, these are, you look at it later on to justify your certain steps using the statistics to analyze whether you were correct or not correct, to analyze
can
and
look at
prepare
it
better
before-
for the next time. Yes, okay, you can certainly use that. But as I'm saying is, it is not standard sport. It's if you standardize, statistics will only work if you have certain standards which are equal for everybody, and then you compare it.
No, it doesn't have to be like that.
So can I come
Statistics,
into
for
like
instance,
That's how they
more?
work. That's how they work all the time.
For
If you want to
instance,
How
you
do
look
you
at
compare
for
it?
instance,
to
you
a data analyst
look at
and understand
Liverpool.
how things work.
You
If
look
you
at
want any help, if anyone wants any help.
yeah, no, I'll come back to you. I'll come to you. But believe me,
So what
I'm
I'm
not going
saying,
to omit you,
Coachella, is,
Jerry Z.
Coachella,
Here's
I'm
the thing,
saying is that
Jesse, you're preparing for a game. For instance, you're preparing to play Arsenal. You'll
Yeah.
know where they attack mainly from, majority of the time, even without counting it. Even without
no, okay.
specifically saying they
See,
do this a
I
certain number
don't.
of times, as long as you know that mainly they go through a certain area, it's the statistics you're using without calling it that. It's a statistic, it's just a name.
No, Coachella,
It's just a label. Even
Coachella,
without
I
knowing
don't
it, you're
I
using
like your question
statistics.
because I do not prepare for games against Arsenal, first of all. So if you are taking into that, I don't
I don't
comfortable
like this
answering
guy.
that question for that specific reason. But if you are going to talk sense, we are going to talk sense. Then when you have a game between yesterday's game, City versus Arsenal, they played different. Both of the teams played different. They were more cautious. They were also looking. City was maybe looking for. They were ready for
Did you
like
notice
not
that
to lose
Arsenal's
the
main
game.
approach was to cut off the
Coachella,
passing
they
lanes?
prepared the game as it looked to me as if both teams didn't want to lose in the first instance, and
Okay.
they were very cautious in their approach. Now that
That's
approach
the
is
fact.
not coming from statistics.
I'd say no. I'd say no in so many ways, because Arsenal's application during the game showed that their priority was to cut out the passing lane, and it is based on statistics that they learned they would try to go through certain areas. But let's hear you, Jerry.
For everyone,
Let's
who
hear you.
is trying to make a strategy of the game in our panel? Who is trying to make a strategy of a game, or who is trying to look at the data and trying to say that we are trying to make a strategy of Arsenal game based on data? This show, when the show started, I'm being very calm. I'm fine. It's about reviewing the game. It's we didn't even plan for it. So coach asked me to review the game against Liverpool, and he asked me, "Do you look?" If I'm correct, he asked me if you would like to look at the data. I said no. I don't need to look at the data and remember everything, right? I said something like that, maybe not the exact words. And I recapped the entire game. without looking at the data. And then after have analyzed, then coach opened the tabs, or they were already open, I don't know. And then he was mentioning something that Liverpool had only one shot on target, right? So I didn't use data to say that, and he was very fascinated. And I was just saying, like, yeah, Chelsea played really well. It looked from the eye that Liverpool dominated in the first 30 minutes, right? But they still had only one shot on target. That's all I said. So it was not like making a use of data and coming out with a strategy or saying something that is super unnatural, right? And first of all, so that is it. And of course, when coach talks about data, he always takes me into account. So maybe people think, let me be clear, that I overanalyze or I use data a lot. In my whole life, of course, I'm public now for a little while in this community, but I don't have to go and say whatever I achieve in my life. So I never used to look into data, right? So just to make it short, and how things are working, even in Thailand, working for a club, I wanted to apply as a sports for a coach, as an analyst, for data analyst, like sports analyst. And I talk to them how much I know the game. I've been following this game. I have good predictions, blah, 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 whatever I had to show. I played this sport in this college, and whatever I had this profile, right? So they had an interview with me and they were really impressed, but they asked me to analyze the few games, right? I'm just trying to say, I'm not talking about myself or trying to portray anything. I'm just giving my knowledge and the history of data and how data is useful. Just to conclude, make it very short. So they asked me to analyze a couple of games, Champions League final 2017, Juventus Real Madrid, and some couple of other games. They asked me which you can do, which you remember, right? And I really thought I really did well, right? And they said that, okay, that's fine, but this is all your opinion. You didn't back it up with any data, right? And then when I know a few of the coaches over here, data is, of course, I do agree with JC in this aspect that we don't use it, right? We don't just take it into account on face value and use it to make a strategy. But then again, I'm not talking about myself, and then you guys are thinking I'm trying to make myself look good. No, that is why we need more education. That is why the data analyst, sports analyst comes in. When we look into data that coach is showing, it is just the face value. No, we have to take into account many things. If there's time permits, maybe with coach, I can make a 2-hour video on how you have to look at. JC is right in this. If it is his if it is his question that you have to be very careful how you assess data, that is correct. And that is why sports analysts comes in where they need to really know what we are looking at. So when I was just trying to just to conclude, talking about the data, I was only saying when Chelsea were not finishing, Chelsea should have won this game. It showed in the next 8 games that they had problems in finishing the game. So I was making a correlation based on the fact that we were having problems in finishing the game. Many times, coach, on the show, you gave me data. The last 5 games head to head, I said, no, it doesn't make any difference because this is a new Chelsea team. This is a new different team. So I know, or people who know how to look into data knows which data to collect, right? So anyhow, to make it short, it's been good entertainment, I would say, and everyone probably learned something out of it. Data is very important, and then I went on to study data analytics, and I'm going to do PhD. I have to say that in January, just to get a job as a coach, as an analyst, I'm going for a sports analytics PhD because it's required, they need it, and it is used. And I'm just talking about amateur level here in Thailand. It is really required, right? But again, you have to be knowledgeable enough how to use it, right? And no one is trying to take data and say this is how it works. With me, don't worry, I don't look into data, even though it's my job now. But for example, my prediction on Chelsea finishing top 4 has nothing to do with data. It's a feeling. It's a feeling, right? So I hope I made it very clear. And of course, coach asked me to talk on data, so I do talk on data, what I see. And many things, when I see they are not making sense in my knowledge or whatever, how much knowledge I have, less or more, I always say, coach, this data is not relevant. So I hope I cleared a lot of things.
Here's the thing.
Excellent insight.
One perfect example why you need both. Jackson, in a game where there are games where he scored 1 but missed 999, right? You could just enjoy the fact that he scored 1, and some people won't pay attention to how many he missed. And the fact that had he scored the 999 out of the 1,000 chances he has, that we'd win the game. So you need both. You need both. And eye test is the reason why we know, he's doing everything right, not numbers alone. Eye test will tell you he's getting in the right positions, but the only thing he hasn't done is put away all the chances that's come his way. Eye test. Then to know how many has he missed exactly. Statistics come into play. All these things are important. And if you've heard me talk about statistics, I've always argued you need both, not just one. And that's why I don't just go by video clips of a player being so good. And not just why I don't just go by numbers. I would say I've looked at their numbers, but I haven't watched them play. So I can present, you can say, a sound argument as to why Chelsea should sign that player. As much as this derailed us from what we were here to do, it's still enjoyable, and I love it. And JC, thank you. But Roger, the question I want to ask you, is that important when you're reviewing a game?
Yes.
Which was what we were doing. But JC has taught us maybe.
I mean, reviewing, like if they have got an upcoming opponent, yes, in certain regards, yes, you're going to have a football. We're talking about high-end football teams like Premier League teams, like Serie A teams. We're talking about not your Sunday pub league. We're talking about, or they probably even do. Who knows? I don't know. But you're talking about big clubs. When they're facing their next opponent, they will have staff that are paid to do, like I believe Mourinho for Sir Bobby. He was actually an analyst for the next upcoming games. That was one of his dual roles, I believe. So he would analyze, write a report, and that was backed up by data. So
I think he had somebody whose job was opposition analysis.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. He was,
and the guy actually stayed until, I think I know the guy. He stayed until
he was an interpreter.
Sorry, but go ahead with what you were saying.
Actually, the biggest, the most, I would say, manager we had who argumented most for the statistics was Graham Potter with his XGs.
Who? Potter?
With his XG statistics in press conferences and everything, and all around it. Like, he was big on stats.
He was. Sarri was too. Sarri was big on
numbers very data driven.
I think it's all a very quick point I want to say.
Yeah, stats will now help you.
If we are to look at standard statistics in preparation of the games, then we will not have so often so many changes the managers make. I mean, I do not know how many times has Cucurella played as a right back, but it's the manager who sees the game. And these managers are really top managers. They don't need so much data input to make their decisions. They would make their decision and then they would try to predict answers. Maybe there, in those cases, they might ask to look at some stats or previous history. But they don't make decisions based on, I don't think they make decisions based on statistics. They make decisions and then they do try to look for answers.
I'll let you drop. They do. I'll let you drop. Go ahead.
No, I haven't seen that. So I cannot say for sure like they don't do or
let
they
me be
do.
Clear what you said. You said they don't make
like
decisions based on a history, a statistical history. Did you say that?
Here's we are talking like which came first, egg or the chicken. I'm saying is they make a decision and then they look for answers whether my decision is going to be predictably correct or not correct.
Coach,
and then they might look at statistics.
Hold on, I want to hear. I want him to explain what he said.
Coach, next time when you have me, don't put stats. I think I can talk without stats.
No. Jesse just made it more. He's led us to have you can say what I call intellectually driven argument or conversation, and I love that.
Insightful.
It's vital. We'll learn a lot from it, and that's why we'll have a show. Here's the thing. I don't think things personal. You all either make me think intellectually or you make me think like, what is he talking about? And he's making sense. I agree to a certain extent, stats and everything, but there's no way you can prepare your team without start playing a part with how you prepare your team. Because you still consider how the opposition play, and there's no way you consider how the opposition play without saying start and part of you understanding how they play.
Because there's variables.
Just to recall, when you opened the start, you also didn't know when you said Liverpool one shot on target, and we can all go and look back the expression and the way coach talks. So of course, coach was like, Liverpool had one shot on target against us. So of course, this is not like we're making it up. The game has been played right, and this is a fact that they had one shot on target. So it's black and white, right? And we are talking about the game. We are not saying because it is like this, then this will happen. We're just talking about that particular game.
Yeah, Roger, anything else you want to say? Wow, I haven't enjoyed this show like this in a while, because it's a different kind of because a show this morning. But Roger, let's hear you. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think well, listen, as I said, I only joined the show and just started listening, prior to just joining, and yeah, it's a good subject matter. It really is. It brings, dare I say, perspective. It really does, and I think that's important. The game has advanced, progressed. It's more of a science in so many ways. It's very much layered, and you have so many specific coaches and people that recognize and know how to analyze data to better them. It's a science. I think virtually every sport, apart from tiddlywinks, is a science. It's that simple, because of the fact we have people that have PhDs. We have tremendous computing power that we didn't have a century ago. And we're able to analyze and, shall we say, derive certain game plans based on data. Not solely, that would be farcical, but for the most part, I think if you have a major team and they're not data driven or they don't utilize data, then they're going to get relegated. I think we can safely assume that, unless you've got 11 Messis, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think it's a part of the. I think it has been for quite a while now. It's been generally accepted as it's a vital component of the game,
And
either post
instance,
or pre-match.
Just another very small example, right? And coach, I think you should do a recorded show with me for 1 hour, where maybe I can help the audience to understand that how data is used. Because the thing is, I also disagree when we take these football stats, when we go on these websites and open, this is not how the managers and the staff look at the stats, right? This is absolutely the tip of the iceberg. So for instance, if there is a problem of Jackson scoring, but again, 8-6 game is not a good sample size, right? They could identify, they could give it to the analyst, not Pochettino, not even Jesus. They have other people who are looking into this stuff, and they gave a recommendation to Jesus. Jesus is the one who's looking into data. Pochettino is not, first of all, is not very hands-on on data, right? But he's of course using it because they have to. So the point is, if Jackson, if there is something they really need to look into it, they go and have different sub-constructs, right? And they try to evaluate things on a different metrics, which are not what we are seeing, right? So this is something they look into it. And the thing is, if we agree or all disagree, I also came into this world because of the need of it, right? I really hated to be honest, coming into the data world, because I thought I'm so good in talking about football and predicting results, right? Because the bookmakers would even like hate me. So but the guy like me who thought, okay, he's good enough to talk on football, had to go into data. If you had to talk about football, have to work under a coach as an analyst. So they do take it, and now it is very data heavy, right? It is very data heavy. But again, if we don't look into the data, it is if we don't take data and utilize it correctly, then then it's of no need. And I 100% agree that any research, even the research findings, right, where they say that this food causes cancer, even people can look into the same data and can say, no, this is right or wrong, right? So that is why people need more and more education and need more and more exposure to this. And by myself, as I said, I generally don't really look too much into data. But on the show, when coach humbly asked me, it's his blessing that he asked me to talk about it. And honestly, moving forward, if we'll talk on data, my perspective is always to talk if it's making sense. Maybe I'm not always right. I'm not saying I'm always correct, but many things I already tell coach, or you guys can notice in the future, I tell that this data is not correct because of XYZ reason. So good talk, good entertainment, and hopefully we all learn something from it.
Yeah, it's the thing. There's always something to learn. Again, it's only, I don't know. You're not doing yourself a favor if you believe you know everything. But Heston, I don't know what else to say. It's been interesting and quite enjoyable. Coach, let's do, we don't have enough numbers, maybe another day, or maybe I'll do that on the community tab. But send me up to Chelsea, possibly, but right now it's just all rumors. Let's see what else we have here. Coach, did you use a stats when you coach, or were you never a coach? I was a coach even at a very young age. That's how much I love football. And here's the thing I wanna explain to you. Even at the age of 2021, I was a coach. Let me tell you this. I used stats even though it wasn't called stats then.
Coach, I
Because
thought
would
you
know,
just turned 21 last week.
for instance, I know the opposition so well that I will know that player right there, majority of the times will cut in and try to use his left foot. We'll call him one-sided footballer at a time. And I know fully well that this guy has scored so many goals and this guy's putting good crosses. And I know so well that this guy has scored that much goal that the majority of the goals he scored came from crosses from a particular player. And I will know to tell my team, stop that player. So even without calling it stats, I was using stats at the time. And to be honest, we were here to review a game, which means we need history. And the history are in form of numbers and statistics. To break down the game proper, you have to look at the stats of the events that happened on the day. We're not even talking about player ratings. Player ratings, you could say, can be subjective. It depends on who you ask. But we're looking at stats, overall stats of the game. Then Jerry Z now took it to an angle where it became an argument whether stats is important or not. Even player training, you still need stats. They wear something to measure how they run. And that's how these days you don't just look at a player run and you say they are fit. You use numbers. You look at what they're wearing, look at what it tells you how fit they are. So stats is important, but you shouldn't rely on stats entirely. You should be a good coach first of all. Stats just aids you in preparing the game you want to play. And this year, Constantine Dante is asking me a question. I've explained it to you. You use stats even when you don't know it. The stats is when you're able to predict, okay, if we do this, this will be the most likely outcome, or anticipate, maybe. Haaland's stats for Arsenal were interesting, and also his eye test, but no one would refuse him, would they? No. Yeah, sometimes that's why I say you can overuse stats. You can also you can say rely on eye tests. It's as simple as that. You can over rely on either of the two. So that's why you need both sometimes. And sometimes, like in this case, if you're basing that on one game, but I can assure you, whoever wants to sign him will not be judging him based on that a single game, if that makes sense. That's not stats. That's knowing the opposition players. Did you listen to what I explained? I was using stats even without it knowing what it was, thinking how important that's what I was using at the time. Yeah, knowing that a particular player created the most of the chances for a particular player, so numbers, and that leading to me saying, stop him, stop the crosses. All the time I cannot go by like that. I think I agree with you. Also, thanks, Coach. It was a question I meant to ask ages ago, but I've explained it to you. It's important. Anybody else on the panel has anything else to ask? Let's call it a day. It's been a delicious show, and I applaud you, Jerry Z, JC. I keep mixing your names up for getting us to have an intellectually driven argument to learn from it. And happy nobody took it personal. And had it not been for us mentioning the importance of learning from each other, maybe it could have, you could say, driven out of, taken out of proportion. But anybody else has anything else to say? Roger, you joined late. You have to add that before we call it a day.
No, fine. Just a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen, as always.
Thank you so much. Eye test, in most cases, for me, in my opinion, just confirms what numbers tell you. It depends on what you see first. If you see the eye test first before the numbers, then the numbers will just complement what eye test you've learned from eye test already. Then if you see numbers first, then the eye test confirms, what the numbers tell you. So both go hand in hand, no matter how you see it. But it's an enjoyable show. I want to say thank you to all the panelists, to Roger Pop, who I'm quite sure listened and said, no, I'm not missing this one. I have to come give my 2 cents. And I want to say thank you to Bobby, Smokey Signal. I appreciate you. And Jerry C. and also JC for that you can say, taking us to that direction would be. And Constantine Dante, much love to you. I appreciate you. And Chimera, much love to you. And the beautiful game, the brother I hate to love. I'm not sure I was. And one else who was in the chat saying, Kachila, you're too much into stats. Usually you're restricted to topics. Just go away. Oh, but here's another spicy take. I think usually the sports in US and India are more stats driven. I don't
Disclaimer:
follow
our owners
I
are
don't
American.
follow more. I don't follow again too many traditional American sports. Really, it is football. I don't even understand how American football works. Even baseball. I have to be honest with you. The most I've followed is basketball. But that's by the way. I want to say thank you to all of you. Jerry Z, you wanted to say something else?
No, on a lighter note, I was saying disclaimer that the owners are American, right?
You just go away, please. No player rating again. We did that. We did that yesterday. Red Ketchup Chilla. Much love to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you all. It's been an excellent, a delicious one, a show at that. See you guys next time. God bless us all and cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen.